If you're rushing for the last subway late at night, never lean against the station's tiled walls. You'll hear from within those cold walls an unexpected, deep and steady giant heartbeat. Just now, I saw with my own eyes. The ground moved and twisted like a living thing beneath me. In a split second, a monster's shell was swallowed clean by the floor. No screams, no remains left, not even a drop of water. So the bustling city I've lived in for over 20 years isn't really made of cold concrete and steel. It's actually a bottomless, giant living thing with a mind of its own. The tangled subway lines are its veins. The towering buildings are its bones. And those expressionless, tens of millions in rush hour crowds, are all cleaners living inside it. As the only pure human still awake in this city, when that harsh rejection alarm rang in my head, I could only grip my gun tight, pull the trigger over and over. The muzzle flashed. The body of the homeless guy in front of me shriveled up like an old rag. And next, a mutant rat so fast it left a blur, shot straight out from inside. Yenja, the icy school beauty, didn't even look. She pinned it to the floor with a backhand stab. A second later, the hard subway tiles rippled like water. Barely a second passes. The monster's body is fully swallowed by the ground. Not a trace left behind. You get it now? Yang Jia's eyes were freezing cold. This city is alive, and you and I are both outsiders. I'm Xiao Zhao. For 4 years, I always thought I had severe anxiety. I believed all those twisted visions meant I was crazy. Until 3 days ago. Until that class reunion when we were nearly eaten. Until I gripped a shard of glass and stabbed right through that creature's core. All of the madness started from that suffocating afternoon. Bang, bang, bang. I hear my mom cleaning outside the door. The broom smacks hard against the doorframe. I clutch my ears in pain, shaking all over. 4 years and this dizzy spell never leaves me. Whenever I get nervous, everything around me stretches and warps. Even my heartbeat starts slowing like it's drumming through water. Buzz, my phone vibrates. It's a text from my high school friend Jiang Cheng. 2nd floor, Galaxy Hotel. Class reunion. I want to run, even if my headache just started. I still want to escape this suffocating home. I grab my hoodie, open the door. It's already dark. That feeling of being watched by something huge hits me again new. The 3 vicious dogs next door hunch low, their chains pulled tight, making a whiny metallic sound, their blood-red eyes locked onto me. I hug the wall and speed up. Ahead, in the butcher shop, a tall butcher is holding a chainsaw, cutting something. Swoosh, both butcher and meat turn to stare, both freezing their eyes on me. My scalp tingles. I take off running, bolt out of the old street, and gasp under the bright city lights. I take a deep breath, force myself to calm down. It must be the illness acting up again. I wrap myself tighter and walk toward Min Hotel, push open the door to our private room. My noisy classmates all stopped mid-sentence. Looks like Zhao Zhao the shut-in is here. Can't believe we got him out. Now that's a miracle. All those familiar smiling faces pull me right back to high school memories. My pounding heart slowly settles. Yeah, this is the normal world. Until the door opened again. Everyone's eyes were drawn at once. Yan Jia, the high school goddess. It's been 4 years, but he's still got that untouchable, mysterious vibe. For some reason, just looking at him, the dizziness in my head suddenly vanished.
He's real.
I'm sure of it. What are you looking at? A cold voice suddenly blasts in my ear. The aloof beauty corners me in the bathroom, and her first words ask me to kill. She wants me to kill my best bro. Turns out, in this fake, monster-filled city, I'm the extra nail. Everyone wants to pull me out. As my buddy is pushed forward, his mask rips off, cold and full of hate. I spin around fast. Jiang Cheng is holding a cigarette, grinning in a twisted way, his eyes so dark it's creepy. I look around and realize something's really off. Next to me, a classmate is stabbing a chunk of meat over and over, but staring straight at me. All at once, I become the hunted. The pressure makes me sweat like crazy. Everything around me turns unreal again. They want to hurt me. That thought bursts through my mind. I stand up abruptly. I'm going to the restroom. The moment I leave the private room, I can feel a dozen lifeless eyes behind me, like nails stabbing into my back. In the restroom. I splash cold water on my face, slapping my cheeks like crazy. What's wrong with me? Why is it that everyone suddenly shows a look like they want me dead? Am I actually insane? How long have you been awake? A cold voice comes from behind me. I turn, terrified. Yan Jia is leaning against the wall somehow. I try to explain. He just cuts me off. I'm asking, how long have you been awake? Why are you drawing so many shadows? I'm frozen where I stand. Yan Jia's eyes are deep, pure, not wrong. Back in there, they really did want to eat you. This city is a lie. You're like a nail stuck in a clock. This world wants you gone, wants you erased. I feel like I'm falling into ice. How could this be possible? Before I can even ask, footsteps sound outside. Yan Jia grabs my shoulder and leans close to my ear. Don't talk. The monster's here. The door opens. Zhang Cheng enters with a big smile. What are you two hiding here for? Tell me your secrets. Yan Jia smiles calmly. Just chatting, that's all. Zhang Cheng's gaze shifts between us. A flash of malice in his eyes. Yan Jia, you go on ahead. I'll talk to Zhao Zhao alone. Yan Jia glances at me, then turns to leave. As we cross shoulders, he whispers. One last thing in my ear. First sword for the outcast. Never back down. If you don't want to be eaten, then kill him. Killing him made my scalp tingle. The door closed. Zhang Cheng's disguise shattered instantly. Cold and venomous. He suddenly lunged at me.
He slammed me hard against the wall.
Crashed. The mirror behind me shattered. Broken glass and T-swords scattered everywhere. You think you deserve to fight me for the Yang family? His voice twisted horribly. I stared at him in terror. A wave of panic exploded inside me. Time suddenly slowed down. This is the disease that's tortured me for 4 years. Under extreme panic, my brain goes into overdrive. Movements around me look like slow motion, frame by frame. It's not an illusion. He really turned into a monster. He's attacking me. I'm trapped, nowhere to run. There's only one way. Killing him in just 1 second. My mind calculated 1,000 times. I stared hard at his chest. Right in that crack, I saw a dark red mutated core pulsing. I'm supposed to be a law-abiding good guy. How did I suddenly become the city's most wanted target? The tiny restroom turned into an arena. Brothers from the past became monsters, roaring, about to tear me apart. Time stretched endlessly. Every frame appeared crystal clear. He's attacking me. I'm trapped, nowhere to run. There's only one way. Killing him, I clenched my jaw. My eyes quickly scanned around. I glanced at the broken mirror on the floor. Sharp fragments struck like claws. I didn't dodge. Instead, I dropped down with his force. His claws just grazed my head and smashed into the tiles. Bits flew everywhere, catching a split second while he was off balance. I moved fast, grabbed the longest, sharpest piece of glass from the floor, jumped up at him. No hesitation at all. Pierced right through that dark red core. Zhang Cheng's eyes widened in disbelief.
His claws suddenly went limp.
He staggered back and collapsed onto the floor. He's just a newbie. Yang Jia suddenly appeared at the door, holding a pitch-black gun.
He watched me finish him off skillfully.
A flicker of shock in his eyes. I slowly stood up. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. Yan Jia walked over, handed me a band-aid. You've only delayed the crisis. Monsters in this city fear the tough and bully the weak. You showed you're not easy to mess with, so they'll rest for now. Just as he finished talking. Oh wow, you two have been chatting so long. A familiar voice sounded. I froze, spun around fast. The remains on the floor had vanished. Zhang Cheng was washing his hands at the sink. He turned and smiled warmly at me. Let's go, everyone's waiting. A chill ran down my spine. That life or death fight felt like a hallucination. But my palm still hurt. Back in the private room, everything was perfectly normal. Classmates were checking if I was okay. Zhang Cheng was extra friendly. All the malice seemed wiped away instantly. So fake it made me sick. The party ended. I got in Yang Jia's car. Night breeze blew past. I stared at him. What the heck just happened? Yang Jia said calmly, as you saw. People you know aren't even human anymore. Whenever the city targets you with malice, they show their real face. When the world changed, it forgot to tell us. This isn't home. We're outsiders here. Yan Jia smiled, stepped on the brakes. Let's just go home tonight. You just killed Jiang Cheng. The system gave you a short grace period. Pretend like nothing happened. Get some sleep. Trying to rest in a world full of monsters. It's seriously the craziest joke ever. I walked alone in the old alley. Avoided the butcher's shop. Stayed away from the vicious dog in the yard. Stood outside my door. Couldn't even bring myself to push it open. Took a deep breath. Opened the door, no kitchen knife. No scolding. Just dim, cozy lamplight. Welcome home. Mom sat on the couch. Turned down the TV volume. Left dumplings in the pot. Heat them up if you're hungry. Go to bed early. Don't stay up late. I was frozen on the spot. Her caring eyes. Her familiar tone. Totally different from this afternoon. I kept my clothes on. Stayed awake in bed till morning. Early the next day, fried dumplings and hot milk sat on the table. Sunlight filled the yard. The neighbor's vicious dog became a goofy butterfly chaser. The butcher greeted everyone with a smile. The street was busy with cars. White collars rushed by with coffee. Everything seemed so normal. So normal I started doubting last night's fight. Did I really go crazy? Just then, the yard gate was suddenly pushed open. Some weird news was on TV. The host praised how prosperous the city is. But I remember clearly. Last night the street was full of monsters hunting me. I sniffed around the living room like a police dog. No killing intent. No smell of blood. Just the hot milk the housekeeper brought. I was about to relax. Thought I could get through today. But something unexpected happened. Just then, the yard gate was suddenly pushed open. Where did you go messing around? Mom walked in wearing her supermarket uniform. Face gloomy. She grabbed the untouched dumplings on the table and slammed them into the trash. Grace period is over. Evil's back again. I reached for my pocket, ready to fight. Hello, Auntie. Is this Zhao Zhao's home? A crisp voice came from behind me. I turned around. Yan Jia wore a baseball cap, holding a gift box, standing outside with a bright smile. A miracle happened. The distortion on Mom's face disappeared instantly. She rushed to tidy her hair, switched to an extremely warm smile. Oh, you're Xiao Zhao's classmate, right? Come in, have a seat. She happily ran to the market for groceries, claimed she'd cook something delicious. I slumped into the couch, my worldview shattered. Her attitude changed faster than flipping a book. Yang Jia peeled an orange, half smiling. Did you see that? As long as you don't trigger the rejection system, they're perfect NPCs. You have to learn to survive in this fake home. If I hadn't shown up just now, what would you have done? I forced a smile and ran away. After all, he's wearing my mom's face. Yan Jia didn't say anything. Her eyes just got a little deeper. After having this bizarre but rich dinner, Yang Jia pulled me outside. Let me show you something new. We avoided the crowd, walked into an abandoned underground subway station. The lights were harsh and pale, flickering. A few homeless men reeking of foul odor huddled in the corner. Yang Jia walked up to a homeless man wrapped in a dirty blanket. Hey, the blanket lifted a bit. Who are you? The man's voice was sharp as nails, scraping glass. Here for pest control. Yang Jia smiled and opened her satchel. A cold, heavy black handgun. She put it in my hand. Kill him, no questions asked. If it were yesterday, I'd have thought she was nuts. But I didn't hesitate. I raised the gun right away. My panic response kicked in again. Time slowed down. I stared hard at the homeless man. His posture seemed off. He looked scared, curled up in the corner. But his legs were already tensed, like a spring ready to launch. His nails dug deep into the concrete. Stop, stop, stop. I emptied the magazine. The bullets tore through his disguise. A piercing screech ripped my eardrums. A rat monster burst out from his clothes. It dragged its bony tail toward me and rushed right at the door. A fierce mental shock almost made me puke. But years of anti-panic training kept my mind extremely clear. The ammo was gone. If I fought head-on, I'd die. I quickly stepped back, then slid behind Yang Jia, hiding right behind her. This has to be the most ridiculous scene in the history of fighting monsters. The brute went for melee. The shooter emptied their guns, and I chose to put the fragile campus queen in front of me. Anyone who saw this would definitely call me a loser, because I gave up defense in 0.1 seconds when the monster lunged. Totally chickened out. This is downright embarrassing for all humans. But I knew clearly, the woman in front of me is 10,000 times scarier than the monster. Yang Jia clearly didn't expect me to slip behind her so smoothly, but she moved instantly, twisted out a black knife and stabbed precisely. A sharp squelch. She pinned the rat monster still thrashing in midair, dead on the ground. I peeked out, saw the monster fall, finally breathed out. That thing was just disgusting. Since you had it handled, it's safest in your hands. Yang Jia pulled out the knife. Her expression was speechless, but also quite impressed. This is the lowest level Ratman parasite mutant. Our mission is to clear out these bugs that ruin the city. Only by accepting the mission will you get his permission to keep living. I frowned. Who is he? Yang Jia didn't answer, just pointed to the mess on the ground. Look, he's here. I followed her finger. In the next second, I saw the most mind-blowing nightmare of my life. Under the flickering white lights, the subway tiles suddenly turned soft, rippling like water. The monster's remains were completely swallowed up by the floor in seconds. Then the floor turned back to cold tiles. Even the bullet holes were perfectly restored. This city is alive. Yang Jia's voice echoed in the empty subway platform. I quickly looked up. My gaze seemed to pierce the thick ground. In my senses, all the skyscrapers outside seemed to become huge breathing nodes. The tangled highways turned into thick nerve networks. The world I've lived in for over 20 years isn't really on Earth's surface, but inside a supergiant creature. And right now, I could clearly feel this enormous living monster. Its eye hidden deep in the abyss was staring straight at me. Yang Jia walked with my shattered self out of the subway, quietly staying by my side. She didn't try to interrupt me. While fear and discomfort flooded inside, my voice was hoarse. I asked, "What exactly is this?" Yang Jia softly said, "Just what you saw. We live in a living city. It's what watches us all the time. Some say we were pulled into this fake, insane world by some powerful, unnameable being. It has everything we're familiar with in our memories, but deep down it's alive. Others say it's our world that got invaded by this unknown life form. It devoured our city." Both stories have believers, and each found their own proof. We believe the first version, so we call ourselves Outlanders. At least if you think of it that way. Our homeland still exists. It's just out of reach. I don't get it. Why Yang Jia brought up these two theories. To me, no matter which reason, it can't change this insane reality. The city is alive. How could a life form exist as a living city? Yang Jia seemed to guess what I was thinking. She quietly said, "For some high-level beings, any form of existence is possible. We just can't understand it right now. Anyway, our current goal is to learn how to survive in this city. That's all." Survive, those 3 words really got to me. It just felt absurd. How do you survive? I even felt it was ridiculous. We're in a world full of monsters. Even this city we're in is just a monster. Yang Jia chuckled and softly said, "Of course. Giving up is also an option. The gun is still in your hand. You can choose whatever you want. It's your freedom." Her reply surprised me and got me thinking seriously. Yang Jia waited patiently for a while, saw me stand still, and slowly started to smile, nodded gently. "Looks like you chose life. Yeah, to survive, even with no reason at all. I just want to keep going. Being alive is our best quality. As long as you're alive, you can always find a reason later." I answered calmly, "I really don't want to die. But how do I stay alive? This city is full of monsters. How can we survive?" I raised the gun Yang Jia gave to me. "Will this even work?" "Well, that's another problem." Yang Jia laughed. "Once you decide to live, you gotta work toward that goal," she said while already taking a small step, arrived in front of an old ATM by the street, looked at me and smiled. "Besides, we can always find a way to please him. It's unbelievable to please me." Looked up at the tall, uneven buildings in the city, like deep-sea lights. "Yes," Yang Jia said. "As living beings, everything we usually see, including people playing all sorts of roles, are part of this city. Sometimes, the city has problems too. It can breed abnormal creatures that cause disasters, or be affected by hidden mysterious forces, which impacts both the city and its people. He needs us to fix these issues for him. As long as we're willing to carry out his will and help him solve problems, we get his goodwill. His hostility will make it impossible for us to move around this city. Monsters everywhere.
But his goodwill.
Gives us everything. I followed him, looked at the ATM in front of me. On the old ATM were lots of dents from people hitting it and exaggerated graffiti. The camera above scanned me like an eye. I waited 2 seconds. Suddenly saw the screen on the ATM, flickering like unstable electricity, flashing quickly. Soon a dark red screen appeared, with messy lines twisting together, forming words. Name, Zhao Zhao, age, 21, contract, low points, 30. I was a bit surprised. Suddenly looked up. What's this? It's the city's goodwill toward you. Yang Jia smiled softly. Hostility can't be measured, but goodwill can be counted. You just helped the city deal with a rat man. You finished it with a final shot, so it's counted as your achievement. That's why you got his goodwill. This goodwill usually comes in the form of points. Until you use up these points, normally you won't feel the city's hostility toward you. That way, everyone you meet will keep playing their roles. You can even pretend nothing's changed in your life. For a moment, it all seemed absurd. Really wanted to ask, how do you treat living among monsters, all disguised as humans, like nothing happened? But as the words were about to come out, I suddenly shut my mouth. Maybe. I already knew what's underneath their skin. You just have to get used to it. Seeing me hesitate, Yang Jia stayed relaxed, helped me press the ATM screen. Go home, get some sleep. Remember these points. This is the most important thing we have. The most important thing. Tomorrow I'll have a real expert teach you how to use these points to get stronger. But I hope you're ready. He turned his head and looked at me seriously. In this city, the only way to survive is to solve his problems, to deal with the city's dangers. But honestly, some things are truly terrifying. Neither you nor I can promise that in the future, we can survive all these nightmare monsters. So if you'd chosen to give up, I wouldn't have stopped you. For us, living isn't easier than quitting. The ATM spit out a dark red card. I held it in my hand, stood at the subway entrance, watched Yang Jia's figure slowly fade into the misty streetlights. After a while, I turned and headed home. Came to the dark, deep alley. I looked up. When I left the alley with Yang Jia, I didn't feel much. But now coming back, it feels like walking into the mouth of a giant beast. 3 dogs in the neighbor's yard, eyes glowing faintly, watch me quietly. The old record player behind the white curtain upstairs is making a raspy sound. At the alley's end, a tall butcher in a stained apron, holding his tools, stares hard at the meat on the rack. I stood in the middle of the alley, letting countless cold stares and odd vibes mix all over me. I've been struggling with fear and pain for 4 years, barely surviving in a tiny bedroom, endured countless hardships, pushed through endless nightmares to train my focus, forced myself to adapt, to think straight under heavy pressure.
Did all this
Just to come back into this world. But now, I finally made it, finally stepped outside, walked the streets like normal. But the world has changed. Right now, there's a flame of frustration burning inside me, facing this huge city. I really want him to return my world, give it back. But after a while, I just bowed my head, slowly headed to my bedroom. Lost in thought, I lay on my bed. Yang Jia, just back home, sat on the sofa, looking heavy and hesitant. He dialed a number. The signal went straight to the city center. A 100-story building with no sign. Top floor. The top is full of instruments and wiring. In the center stands a glass tank full of deep green liquid. Inside is a biocore for calculations. Wires covered densely. Yang Jia's voice echoed through the room by machine. I met the new guy today. Helped him see the truth of this world. The electronic voice unexpectedly sounded gentle. Not sure if I should feel lucky for another comrade, or pity someone else falling into nightmares. This newcomer is strange. Yang Jia rubbed his temples. He's calm and decisive, good at analysis, brave enough to face malice, but not totally cold-hearted. After all these years away from home, I've never seen someone so promising. But there's something about him I can't figure out. Everything he does seems reasonable. but always feels surprising. So I hope you can look into him. The electronic voice paused. I'll try. The biocore trembled slightly. Sparks flickered, and all the machines around started whirring.
The whole city.
The foundations vibrated just enough for no normal person to notice. After a while, the shaking stopped. The electronic voice spoke again. I've checked all his info in the city. No sign it's been hidden or tampered with. On the surface, he's just a newly awakened newcomer. But 4 years ago, he went to the hospital for some mental health issues. Yang Jia sat up straight instantly. He looked serious. That seems like symptoms caused by mysterious sources. Yeah, those mysterious entities watching the city. They really can affect people across space, take control of their will. But he's different. No one can stay truly sane under that influence. Keep their mind and self intact. Yeah, if he'd really been affected for 4 years, he'd definitely have issues. The negativity inside him would probably flood the whole city. That just can't happen. The AI voice concluded. So he's clean. His homebody lifestyle is common for young people. Most just think he's a bit lazy. At most, the AI voice hesitated for a moment. Sort of sick, Yang Jia nodded. He looked a bit sad.
Anyway,
He's got huge potential. We don't really have any other choice. Just hope he won't blame me when he learns the truth. I hope he won't blame me. The next day, I woke up early. I actually slept surprisingly well yesterday. For the past 4 years, I've often had headaches. I've been stuck in pain and fear for years. Yesterday, after learning the truth, I was absolutely terrified. But then I suddenly felt calm, felt ready to face it. Had the courage to face it. Mom was already up making breakfast in the kitchen. I didn't want to see her, so I waited on my bed until she left. Around 8:30, the front gate sounded. Mom headed off to work. That's when I left the room. Once I entered the living room, I saw the food Mom left out, along with a note and some money under the milk. On the note, she wrote, "You little brat. I'm off to work. You need money to date. Dating such a pretty girl. Don't be cheap." I froze. She misunderstood my relationship with the Yang family. She also worries I won't have money for a living. A weird feeling rose up inside me. Was it kindness from the city contract? Or just Mom's own feelings? I sat there in silence for a while, then ate breakfast, and put away the note and money. Just as I was wondering what to do, the phone rang. Yang Jia's voice came. "How did you sleep last night?" I answered honestly, "Really well." Yang Jia was obviously surprised. Usually, newbies who learn the truth either stay up all night crying on the phone, or completely break down. But someone says they slept well. I quietly said, "Didn't you tell me? This city is full of danger. Other than keeping calm, what else can I do?" Yang Jia was stunned for a moment, then laughed. "You're so good at listening. Well, since you're ready, next step time." Curious, I asked what's next. "We're way too weak. Need something to protect ourselves." Yang Jia sounded a bit mysterious. "I found an experienced designer to help you. Be polite to her. She's a nice, quiet girl." I quickly agreed, a little excited, honestly. Soon got Yang Jia's contact info. She accepted my friend request. Immediately sent a smile and sweet hello. Jia already told her about me. Said I have a lot of potential. And I'm good looking. I was about to say something modest, but deleted it and answered differently. I'm basically just an ordinary guy. No real potential, honestly. Tang said to meet at 10 in the Uptown East. I agreed right away. Changed into clean clothes. Put on my hoodie and left. Uptown East is the busiest part of Blackgate City, full of fancy restaurants and luxury stores. Didn't even bother to order coffee. Just waited outside the coffee shop. I imagined what she looked like. Figured she'd be a sweet, quiet girl with a bit of attitude. When it was time, no call yet. I kept checking the time. Just then, a big black motorcycle rolled in from a distance. A really petite girl was riding it. A tiny girl was riding the motorcycle. She was about to turn. A blue sports car sped in from the side. Both vehicles slammed the brakes and honked. The sports car started pushing forward impatiently. The girl on the motorcycle twisted the throttle and charged ahead. The sports car quickly braked, but still got scratched up by the motorcycle. The girl parked her bike with a proud grin, took off her helmet. Turns out she's a short-haired cutie. A guy in sportswear got out of the car. He He came over carrying a golf club. She pulled out a big metal wrench from her bag, held it, and walked right up to him. The guy backed down instantly. Ended up chatting with her for a while. They exchanged contacts, left all smiles. My phone suddenly buzzed. Tang Tang texted, saying she'd been delayed a bit. Asked where I was. I froze right there. Quickly stood up and waved at her. She saw me and jumped over happily. Reached out, said Jia didn't lie. You're really a handsome guy. I quickly shook her hand, worried Nana might upset her. She was not some soft, cute girl. More like a tough but adorable type. Tang Tang smiled as she apologized to me. I asked what she wanted to drink. She said something sweet, please. She sat and waited like a good girl. I went to buy 2 drinks. Yang Jia said I can ask you anything I don't get. Right? Tang Tang nodded. She's a very skilled designer. Sad I could relax. I heard Yang Jia mention enhancement design before, but I'm still confused. Tang Tang put down her coffee, pulled a tablet out of her pink plush backpack, asked me for my info card. I paused for a sec, then remembered. It's the dark red card from yesterday. Quickly handed it over. Tang Tang pressed the card to the back of her tablet. The screen vibrated and transformed, finally showing a strange dark red interface, with lots of options listed. Made me super uncomfortable. I asked, what is this? Tang Tang said it's how we connect with the city's will. You'll get it soon. She handed the tablet to me. My heart skipped a beat. There were tons of weird names listed, like Power Factor and Hidden Instinct. Each one had an exaggerated description. All cost 20 points a unit. The list made my scalp tingle. I asked, what are these? Tang Tang chuckled. These help us fight the crazy world. We call them enhancement elements. Listening to Tang Tang's explanation, I kept feeling something strange inside. Always wondered if these are really enhancement elements. No matter how I look at it, it seems like some kind of symptom. I quietly ask what makes it more like a symptom. I quietly ask how I can get these things. Tang Tang smiles and says, with points. In this city, everything belongs to the city. We can trade anything with points. I look at the info on the tablet. My face tightens instantly. Every single item sounds dangerous. I can't decide what to pick. Tang Tang says, newbies, no one knows what to choose the first time. He's a reinforcement designer and can help me with the choices. I quickly ask him, which one should I get? But Tang Tang smiles and says I can't afford anything. I'm totally dumbfounded. I blink in shock. Tang Tang says I just signed a contract and took out a mutant creature, including the newbie bonus. I have at most 30 points. Even the lowest level power factor costs 60 points. I'm nowhere near enough. I have to accept it. At least I don't have to stress over it. Just then, Tang Tang suddenly looks surprised. I quickly ask what's wrong.
He turns the tablet to show me.
My points are actually at 130. I'm stunned too. Why is there 100 more? Tang Tang checks and says, Jia lent them to me. I'm pretty surprised. Yang Jia is actually this nice to me. But I still frown at the list. I don't like any of these things. One asks Tang Tang, I've got options now, right? Tang Tang does the math and says nope. Now I'm just confused. 130 points still isn't enough. Tang Tang says, no matter which path you pick, the first one has to be power factor. It boosts your physical abilities. You also have to buy a detector. That's exactly 90 points total. The rest isn't enough for anything else. I ask if I can buy in parts. Tang Tang says no. You have to use all 3 power factors at once, or your stats won't max out. That's the only way to stay alive near mutant beasts. The detector picks up malice or weird stuff around you. After hearing that, I'm not stressed anymore. I absent-mindedly swipe the tablet. I see lots of special items. These things are super powerful, and they don't make you weird. I'm kinda tempted right away. But Tang Tang laughs and reminds me, check out all the zeros in the prices. I glance over and instantly drop the idea.
Tang Tang comforts me.
These special items are not only expensive, but they're also full of traps. Like that weapon on the list. It can mess with your mind. You might even lose points and get punished. I ask curiously, isn't there a cheaper way?
Tang Tang says,
You can go explore the city and hunt for special items yourself. If you're lucky, you might get them cheap. Some people chose that before. They call it the collector route. I ask, isn't that all about luck? Tang Tang says actually it's the opposite. Only people with the worst luck pick that. Tang Tang said it's actually the opposite. Only the unluckiest people ever run into it. And the success rate is crazy low. If you succeed once in 100 tries, that's lucky. That's why this path is also called the illegitimate gambler route. Nobody bothers doing dumb stuff like that anymore. I shook my head. I'm always careful. I never do something so reckless. I kept an open mind like any humble newbie. Chatted with Tang Tang, the junior designer, all afternoon. Didn't get home until after dinner. I couldn't help but sigh inside. The company really gave me a great mentor. Tang Tang loves to talk and is super warm-hearted. She can be blunt and tough to deal with sometimes. But when explaining survival skills here, she's amazingly patient. She even fights to pick up the tab. Makes me feel a lot closer to her. In this weird world, Yang Jia and Tang Tang are both outsiders like me. They always bring me a special kind of comfort. Back in my bedroom, I saw a dark red box next to my bed. I'd prepared myself to see it when I came home, but it still surprised me. Tang Tang taught me how to purchase special items. I just followed the list and ordered that day. Now the door's still locked at home. Mom hasn't finished work yet, but the box just appeared in my room out of nowhere. Then I remembered this city is alive, so it's not really that shocking. I opened the box and saw DJ Gene Enhancement Serum. It was in a half-metal, half-transparent special container. I went silent for a long time, then let out a bitter laugh. The whole world has changed. Why keep worrying? I quietly reviewed my gear. Yang Jia's self-defense weapon, a fruit knife I bought along the way, and the enhancement I just used. At least now, I've got a bit of protection in this strange city, but I've always felt insecure. Thinking of the malice and weird creatures I ran into before, I still felt uneasy, so I grabbed from the box the monitoring device. Tang Tang said there are hardly any mutagenic items in the city. You can roam around most of the city and still never bump into one. I just wanted to see if there's anything wrong around me. I can only sleep safe if things are normal. But as soon as I hit the switch, the screeching alarm went berserk. Cold sweat broke out all over me. My heart pounded wildly. I thought the device was just broken, but then saw the monitor list, and my scalp went numb. It was all the things I'd feared most during my anxiety spells. The vicious dogs downstairs, the old phonograph at the neighbor's, and the butcher at the corner meat shop. I slammed the alarm off. My heart kept racing. These were why I didn't dare. My heart kept racing. These were why I didn't dare go outside before. So why did they all register as issues here? I took a few deep breaths, tried to calm down, then rushed to my computer. I slapped the dark red card on the case. When the page loaded, I was stunned. Everything there actually turned out to be tradable special items, which means my 4 years of panic were real. I'd already experienced how scary those 3 dogs could be, and always heard their owner cursing in meltdown next door. That old phonograph gave off seriously creepy vibes too. Who knew? The city would even expose the butcher. That butcher really is a criminal. Could get caught any time. I've seen so many bizarre things lately. I cooled down and thought fast. Everything detected might mutate soon. They have something inside that this city considers abnormal. If they don't actually mutate, I can't get rid of them. Otherwise, I'd get penalized by the city. Experienced folks like Yang Jia and Tang Tang, when they spot something off, usually pay extra attention and even track them. Because those things usually hit a tipping point in days and turn into monsters. But I've known about these for ages. Always felt the danger, but nothing ever changed. I'm torn. Do I tell Yang Jia to handle them ASAP? Or do what Tang Tang said and buy them myself? Maybe they'll become special items. According to Tang Tang, as long as something is detected as a threat, you can buy it. Watch it to see if it mutates. If it does, you deal with it and earn points. If not, congrats. You get a special powered item. But that's super rare. This collector path almost always loses money. Staring at the 3 options on screen, I actually felt tempted. I'm down to just 40 points. Can't afford anything else. Those 3 dogs take exactly 30 points. Honestly, spending 30 points on 3 dogs is dumb. But they scared me so much over the past 4 years. Kept thinking, since they've haunted me for so long, and since the world's so crazy now, if I buy them and make them mine. It's kind of satisfying. I just want to try it. Bought the 3 dogs to watch. If the other 2 show signs of mutating, I'll have young Jia handle them. If even one becomes a special item, I win big. I made up my mind. Spent 30 points on those 3 hounds. Couldn't afford the other 2 anyway. The old phonograph only messes with people's mood. Might not be able to afford it anyway. The old phonograph only messes with people's mood. Might even make things worse. The butcher's tough, but he's a criminal. If I buy him, he might get busted the next day. I'd lose everything. Finish the transaction. Now I've got just 10 points left. System says when needed, the hounds will show up on the battlefield. Reminded me not to go straight home, in case the neighbors complain. I peeked out the window. Those 3 dogs actually crowded by the fence, staring at me. Instead of barking like before, they quietly tilted their heads, even tried wagging their tails, faces full of confusion. We just stared at each other through the window. Wow, they really do seem a lot friendlier. I was just gaining confidence when a new message popped up. Said the hounds can be enhanced once. Costs 100 points. After enhancement, their combat and destructive power both skyrocket. I suddenly felt ripped off. How many monsters do I have to kill to get back 100 points? But I already bought them. Can't just ignore them. Sat back at the computer, feeling stressed out. The 3 dogs saw me move away from the window, let out a disappointed whine, then turned away to dig in the yard. When I think about it, it's not a loss. On paper, they're still the neighbor's dogs. He still has to take care of them for me. Secretly, these 3 dogs are already mine. They're completely loyal to me and won't be corrupted by the city's malice. But I only have 10 points left. I need to earn more points quickly. I've known for a long time that to survive this hostile world, I have to become much stronger, whether it's hunting mutants for points or dealing with sudden threats. I need to master greater power. I volunteered for training, hoping to level up fast. Unexpectedly, Tang Tang was shocked by my request. He asked, "What training?" I was completely stunned. I said, "Training to get stronger quickly." Tang Tang realized what I meant. He laughed and said, "There's no such thing. You don't improve here through hard work, combat experience. You get it naturally by fighting monsters. There's no need for training at all," he added with a smile. That I'd understand soon enough. True strength is actually an innate instinct. I couldn't argue with that, so I just accepted his explanation. But I felt this outsider was so unprofessional. I figured I should probably find a job. Looking at the bustling city before me, I couldn't help but smirk. Job hunting in a fake world. It's almost too real. And Tang Tang warned me that I must follow the rules here. In the past, rule breakers, even the strong ones, ended up badly. I didn't expect job hunting to be this hard. Even strong ones ended up badly. Didn't think finding work was so hard. I only have a high school diploma and a blank resume. After applying for a few days, I didn't get a single job offer. Mom saw me out all day looking for work. She was both surprised and happy. Said I'd finally grown up. She even suggested I help her cut meat at the mall. I refused her immediately. I found a high-paying job online. A stevedore at Blackwater Bay. Good pay and a workout too. It was perfect for me. I didn't care about the prestige at all. The next day, I took the subway to the docks. When I entered the break area, a group of workers sized me up curiously. Looking at this clean-cut kid, a scarred foreman eyed me sideways, with a look of pure disdain. Saw it I wouldn't last a week before quitting. I ignored him, walked to the cargo and closed my eyes. I triggered the monstrous strength inside, and lifted a heavy wooden crate in one go. I walked a lap and set it down, without even breaking a sweat. Everyone's expression changed instantly. The foreman didn't say another word, and just let me stay. And that's how I got my first job. I showed up on time the next day, got my uniform, towel, and gloves. Even bought myself a large water mug. I realized this job really suits me. 12-hour shifts at the docks, loading special cargo, checking containers, and unloading trucks, handling city deliveries. Most people find the work too intense, but I love the feeling of pushing my limits. There's a special power inside me. It's usually hard to control, and only erupts with my emotions. I'm a serious person, and don't want my power going wild. I used the hard labor to sense it and learned to master this force. I took the heaviest crates and pulled the toughest cables. The other workers were stunned. At first, they thought I was just a fool. Later, they thought I was suicidal. I didn't care what they thought. I enjoyed being in control of myself. After all, for the past 4 years, even during my panic attacks, I could force myself to stay focused. Controlling power was much easier for me, but there were new things to adapt to. The dock workers are pretty rough. Friction happens occasionally. With cursing or teasing, I'm usually not a petty person, but I get sudden violent urges. Luckily, I'm a quick thinker. Reason always suppressed the impulse. Wait a bit, and the violence fades. I'm quite satisfied with this job. But seeing them play cards and drink, I felt like I didn't belong. There was a barrier between us. The bragging, gambling, and drinking. I couldn't really fit in. A distance remained. They didn't invite me into their circle either. They knew I wasn't like them. At the start, they thought I was just a runaway kid who would quit in a few days. But then, my crazy work ethic actually scared them. Even the foreman, who calls everyone lazy, told me to take it easy. I knew he meant well, but I didn't plan to listen. I'm just working hard. They won't fire me for that, will they? I'm very satisfied with my life now. My days are packed with work, building strength and earning money. Compared to those 4 years at home, life is much more interesting now. Sometimes I even wonder if this world is actually real. One day after work, Mom saw me drenched in sweat, with scrapes on my shoulders. While rubbing liniment on me, she begged me to quit the heavy labor, said she only wanted me working to get me out of the house. She didn't need my money. She just wanted me safe, told me to just ask her for cash. Her care was a bit hard to accept. I just brushed it off, sighed I wasn't tired, and that I was just getting some exercise. I added that it pays well, so she wouldn't have to work so hard. I handed her the money I'd earned. She smiled and pushed it back, telling me to save it for myself. Sighed I needed a savings, so that girl wouldn't bully me later. I know this might all be fake, but my heart still felt warm. Guess my emotional control still isn't enough. Life has been strangely peaceful lately. I work at the docks every day, getting fit, and making a few $100. Haven't felt panic in a long time. I can even smile at my mom now. I talk to her more often, just to put her mind at ease. After 4 years trapped in my room, this life feels like a dream. Sometimes I want it to be real, to just lose myself in it. But then I remember those creepy, malicious eyes and I wake up. This dream is a total lie. I live in a world of monsters. This peace could be stolen any time. Every time I think that, the smile on my face freezes, still occasionally slipping into that faint loneliness. People are strange like that. You'd think not thinking would make you happier, but you just can't stop yourself from overthinking. I thought I'd finally get a break, but it didn't last long. Then I got a call from the designer Tong Tong. He said he found a job that suits me. I'm still short by one. Then I got a call from the designer Tong Tong. She said she found a job that fits me. I was surprised it happened so fast. After all, I was the one desperate to find work. Earlier, on a whim, I spent 30 points on 3 demolition gigs. My hunting dog only had 10 points left. I had to earn more. Tong Tong said before that there weren't many suitable jobs for me, and told me not to rush. I nearly forgot all about it. After being beat down for 4 years, I just crave that normal life feeling, even if it's just an illusion. I quickly pulled myself together. Asked what the mission is this time. Tong Tang laughed and said it's just a small job. Side details will be on the way. He'd come to get me. Asked if I was at home. Sai Jia Jia gave him the address. I quickly denied it. Saw 8 I was working at Haishui Bay Dock.
Tong Tong seemed a bit surprised,
but didn't ask more. Just double-checked the address. Said see you in 20 minutes.
hung up.
I went to ask the foreman for leave. Even if the foreman might be a monster too, you still gotta follow the rules. If I get fired, work's hard to come by. The foreman heard me out and agreed right away. All his years as a foreman, he had never seen anyone work so hard. Seeing how young I am, he kept worrying I'd wear myself out. So getting time off was a good thing. I didn't expect the foreman to be so chill. Turned around to change clothes. A blonde guy resting nearby wanted to ask for leave too. Said his girlfriend was waiting on him. The foreman scoffed. Said with his attitude, he'll never get a girlfriend. Told him to get back to work. Blondie wasn't having it. Asked why I got time off. That made the foreman even more annoyed. The two of them bickered nonstop. Watching them suddenly put me in a really good mood. Behind me, the docks were busy. Ahead, the city was falling into night. I felt like I was crossing between two worlds. A few minutes later, a big motorcycle pulled up in front of the factory, flashed its lights a few times, and honked the horn. I knew it was Tang Tang. Hurried over to meet her. Tang Tang lifted her helmet and looked shocked. Said it's only been a few days. I looked a lot tougher. Joke that working here does that to you. Then just hopped onto the seat behind her. Turned out I was a head taller than her. Tang Tang couldn't believe it and said, a city contractor like me was actually hauling boxes at the dock. That's impressive. I felt a bit embarrassed. Asked what kind of work she does. She proudly said she's a nanny. I started to think something was off, but the bike just zoomed off with a roar. The foreman watched me ride away and sighed in envy for quite a while. Even made Blondie work overtime. I sat in the back seat, watched her pick up speed. Couldn't help asking if this mission was dangerous. And where we were going. Tang Tang didn't look back. Told me to check my email first. I pulled out my phone. Sure enough, there was an unread email. Didn't even look back. Let me check my email first. I took out my phone. Sure enough, there's an unread email. The sender's name is It's about special biosequence No. 031. Info on the strangling puppet. Danger level D. The lead came in 2 hours ago. Unusual radiation detected at the 6th Street, South City's old district. 100 points for the reward. I'm a bit surprised they know my email. But I didn't ask. Just one job left? There's even a ranking system?
Tang Tang smiled and said,
A lot of people had accidents before. So people came up with tips for newbies to learn from. So new folks don't mess up because they know nothing. I asked if D-level jobs are tough. Tang Tang replied, They're about the same as the rats we handled with Sister Gia Gia. No big difference from the mutating people. When it's affecting the city, it's D-level. If it's changed the environment and built a nest, that's level. I got curious and asked about B-level. Tang Tang said those take a long time to resolve. Or they're special things from outside the city. That got me thinking. So there's other stuff outside the city. I always wondered about that. What's it even like out there? Just then, Tang Tang cut in with a laugh. Told me to focus. Said today's job is different from last time. I asked how it's different. Tang Tang said last time. I hid behind Jia Jia. This time she won't let me. I felt a little awkward. Asked what she wanted me to do. She said she's just here to watch me. It's all on me to handle this time. She just give advice. She only step in if my life's really in danger. I quickly asked what happens if she does help. Tang Tang paused a second. Said I'd be pretty embarrassed. She'd also get the reward points. She's not as generous as Jia Jia. If she gets it, she's keeping it. The bike carried us through the city. After getting off the overpass, we entered South City's industrial area. Huge steam pipes are everywhere here, winding around low and old buildings. Big clouds of steam blow out now and then. The air smells like rust, and something weird mixed in. This part of town is empty and run down. Old abandoned factories are all over. 9 out of 10 streetlights are broken. The streets are full of people just hanging around. They stare hard whenever strangers show up. It's the city's roughest area. Been known for chaos for 4 years. I looked away fast. Didn't want trouble by making eye contact. But Tang Tang wasn't scared at all. She even stopped to check some device. A few guys started heading over. She just hit the gas and drove off. You could hear cursing behind us. Someone even threw stuff at us. We drove another 10 minutes. Now we're at the city's edge. Way out. Endless abandoned. Someone threw something at us. We drove another 10 minutes. Now we're at the city's edge. Way out. Blocks of dark empty factories. Tang Tang stopped the bike. Swiped on her wrist display. Said the weird radiation was found near here. I sat quietly. Didn't bug her. Checked the task map in my inbox. I used to think as outsiders. We just picked up jobs from the city. Hunting strange creatures. But turns out, this job came from someone named Even the job ranks were made by us outsiders. I was still thinking about it when 2 drunk guys wandered over. They looked shifty and asked what we were doing. Tang Tang smiled and asked them if they'd heard any weird stuff around here. like people going missing. Seeing Tang Tang's pretty, both guys got weird. They came closer with bad intentions.
Tang Tang frowned.
Didn't make a move herself. Turned to look at me. I got the hint right away. She'd said I had to handle this job myself. Didn't even think about it. Pulled my gun. Shot the guy in the leg who was in front.
Tang Tang jumped in shock.
Spun around fast. Saw me steady with my gun, aiming right at the other guy's face. And repeated the same question. The shot guy screamed, holding his leg. The other guy turned pale, gun in his face. He started shaking with fear. Swore he didn't know anything else. He just heard there's a weird warehouse up ahead in the factory zone. People keep vanishing there. I looked back at Tang Tang after that. Saw her nod slightly. So I smiled and told the two to drink less from now on. Just go home early. And hurry and get their buddy to a doctor. Those two looked super relieved. Dragged their friend away as fast as they could. I put my gun away. Looked at Tang Tang, waiting for her to say something. Tang Tang went silent for a while. Asked, "You only wanted directions. Why'd you shoot?" I explained honestly. Those guys were also reaching for weapons. I'm new at this. Don't have much fighting experience. If they rushed me, my aim sucks. I could have killed them by accident. So I shot the leg as a warning. No one died. Still got info out of them. That's pretty good, right? Tang Tang was speechless for a while. Finally just said I've got potential. Then asked me what I planned next. I just picked up my gun and walked toward the warehouse. Tang Tang followed, asking if I'm really just going in like this. I looked back at her, surprised I'm a total rookie, with zero experience. No one even bothered to train me. How else am I supposed to do this but go right in? Tang Tang quickly waved her hand. Said this time she's just here to watch. I can do whatever I want. I didn't overthink it. Gripped my gun and marched ahead. She waved and said she's just observing this time. I can do it however I want. I didn't overthink it. Gripped my gun and marched up. Silently hyped myself up. Can't mess this up, or it'd be way too embarrassing. Walking toward the abandoned factory. Honestly, I'm pretty nervous. I've seen how creepy those rat people get. Now, facing the same danger level. God knows what kind of mutated thing is in there. This warehouse even has a scary nickname. It's known as the man-eating warehouse. Since I've seen the city's real face, I truly believe inside there's something pretending to be a warehouse. I walked forward, nervous every step. Good thing a pro like Tang Tang is behind me. Makes me a bit braver. She's glued to her screen, like she's analyzing the place. Then I heard some familiar game music. Took me a second to realize. In a creepy spot like this, someone's actually playing games. Whatever, I can't count on her. I shook it off and got focused. Looked into the factory area. At the huge warehouse hunched like some monster. The air around it was thick and dark. A flock of crows circles above the warehouse roof. I take a deep breath. I yank the warehouse door open. A stench mixed with rot hits me. The warehouse is desolate and run down. There's a heavy feeling of loneliness here. I stand up. I look at the dark, endless warehouse. It's a massive space. There's junk piled everywhere. Abandoned oil drums are stacked on both sides like mountains. It feels oppressive. Only one trash-stuffed oil drum sits in the middle. A weak flame burns inside. I think for a second, then walk in. Tang Tang follows right behind me. I feel confused and uneasy. Does this guy even know what fear is? He doesn't. I was too nervous at that time. My mind went into overdrive. Every step, I scanned all the details around me. In his eyes, it probably looked like I was just out for a stroll. Step by step, I'm secretly anxious as I walk. I barely took a few steps. Then I saw several skeletons scattered around the warehouse. Some curled up in garbage heaps. Some slumped in the shadows. Some kneeling at the wall. Seeing so many bodies at once, my heart slowed down. But my face grew colder. My mind was going so fast. My body and expressions couldn't keep up. I kept feeling something was wrong, but couldn't put my finger on it. I just kept guessing as I walked. All the bodies died from suffocation. Some have been here longer than others. In just half the warehouse, I counted 7 or 8 bodies. No wonder they call this the man-eating warehouse. I kept looking for details as I moved forward, wondering if the puppet was still here. Then my legs suddenly froze mid-step. Heart pounding. I still kept moving forward. wondering if the puppet was still here. Then my legs suddenly froze mid-step. My heart thudded once. I slowly turned my head to Tang Tang. The warehouse was so quiet. You could hear a pin drop. I looked at Tang Tang standing in the dim light and slowly asked a strange question. How long has it been since we last breathed? My voice echoed in the dark warehouse. It sounded extra clear. That weird feeling finally made sense. I realized I had forgotten to breathe at some point. That's supposed to be automatic. I didn't notice until my chest started aching. Then I snapped out of it. I tried to take a huge breath, but the air around me felt frozen. No oxygen came in at all. You finally noticed. Tang Tang lifted his head in the shadows, resting a metal wrench on his shoulder.
He said quietly, "The puppet is already affecting us."
If you think it's too much, you can ask me for help now. He didn't even finish the sentence. Suddenly, his face changed. He opened his mouth to warn me. A sudden sense of danger swept over me. My hair stood on end. My heartbeat kept slowing down. It felt like time itself stopped. From Tang Tang's tense expression, I knew he'd sensed danger, but he was too late to warn me. A million thoughts raced through my mind. I followed Tang Tang's gaze and looked behind me to the left. It was one of those bodies behind me.
As soon as I realized that,
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a pale hand reaching for my waist. I dodged to the side, like I had eyes in the back of my head. Dodged that hand. Then I turned around, pressed my gun against its head. Didn't wait for Tang Tang, just pulled the trigger. The gunshot echoed loudly. The moving corpse got hit. It dropped to the floor. After that, I jumped back a few steps, totally tense and in disbelief. The dead can move? Then I saw there were vines growing out of the body, stretching all the way to the back of the warehouse. The vines were moving it. I felt a bit relieved. That made sense. The idea of corpses coming to life just didn't sit right with me. It's just not scientific. But then I remembered this whole city is a giant living thing, so I could accept it. Must be the city's will, controlling the bodies. While I was thinking, I heard joints cracking all around. More bodies started twisting strangely, getting up off the ground. The whole warehouse felt dark and suffocating. It was hard to breathe. This is the suffocation tide. Tang Tang was behind me, face all tense. He really looked anxious in the dim, oppressive warehouse. It was hard to breathe. This is the suffocation tide. Tang Tang was behind me, face all tense. He looked pretty nervous. The puppet leveled up. The whole place became the so-called suffocation tide. That means it's a sea-level mission now. I realized instantly. I cursed it under my breath who screwed up the intel. How do you mess up the level? Do you even use your brain? Tang Tang said, "You can quit now. I'll take over from here since the suffocation tide has leveled up. It's our mistake. We detected it just 2 hours ago. We're both pretty weak right now. Our city monitoring has dropped off." Standing in the middle of those twisted corpses, I thought about all the stuff we still don't know. How do Outlanders monitor aberrations? How do they gather intel? But from how the city treats the old district, its own system's already seriously messed up. The Security Bureau usually doesn't even patrol here. That's why no one noticed this mess for so long. If the city's own logic is broken, then the Outlanders missing something almost makes sense. But are we just dropping the mission like this? Judging from Tang Tang. Even if I quit, I won't lose face. But all my credits will be gone. I'm almost out of credits now. I'm basically broke. It only took a second for me to realize I had to keep going with this mission. And with all these frozen bodies around.
it looks dangerous.
But actually, there are clues. If the warehouse is a giant web, the puppet is the web's center. Follow the clues and you'll find him. I shook my head right away, told Tang Tang no need to give up yet. Watch my back. If things get bad, then you step in. Tang Tang looked at me, serious as ever. He seemed a bit stunned. Zhao looks great from the side. Wait, is he overestimating himself? He knows it's more dangerous now, and still wants to handle it alone. Are all the newbies trying to act like bosses now? No time for small talk. The frozen bodies already swarmed us. They're in agony. They stumble in from all directions. As they get closer, I feel like I'm suffocating. It just gets stronger. I'm running out of air. Everything around me feels blurred and hazy. I sit down fast. I decide to run deeper into the warehouse. I focus on the key thing, breathing. I still haven't found the puppet yet, but I'm already running out of time. Normally, a person can hold their breath for 1 or 2 minutes. If you've trained, maybe even longer. But this suffocating wave is different. It's not just about being unable to breathe. The feeling just keeps getting worse. My body feels heavier and heavier. Like a mountain is crushing me. Only breathing could help, but now I can't breathe at all. Even the air in my lungs is being drained away. How long can I survive like this? 40 seconds? 30? Tang Tang clearly didn't think it through. But he knows it's dangerous. He swings his wrench, smashing the closest corpses away. He watches nervously as I run deeper into the warehouse. He wants to stop me but doesn't know how. This mission was meant for me anyway. Also, to test my potential. But now it's way beyond what a rookie can handle. I should escape before I pass out. Otherwise, even he can't help me. He didn't expect me to move so fast. I just rushed in without even listening to him. My mind is racing. I'm running out of time. I guess I have maybe 40 seconds left. And that's only because my body is enhanced. Otherwise, I might not last even 20. The tension is unreal. I'm thinking at full speed, making all kinds of judgments. Even some random distracting thoughts. The twisted corpses surge right at me. Every path is cut off. I'm about to be overwhelmed. At that moment, I realize how stuck I am. All I feel is pressure, suffocation, and stress. Panic starts creeping in. I'm sure the puppet is in there. But these problems aren't easy to fix. My explosive thinking skill lets me do things others can't in a short time, like making plans and spot opportunities. But there are things I can't do, like math problems. If I don't know it, I just don't know it. No matter how fast I think, it won't help. It's just like what's happening now. The corpses ahead block almost every way out. My body's strong, yeah. But all these hands reaching for me from everywhere are too much. Plus, deep down, I don't want to fight these corpses. Am I really out of options? Besides turning and yelling for help, what else can I do? The more anxious I get, the more my thoughts explode. Everything around me seems frozen. Even those hands stretched out toward me. I analyze every detail I can, trying to find a way out. Oxygen's running out fast. I can only last a few more seconds. Is that enough to fix everything? There has to be a way. All the info around me floods my mind. I'm cycling through plans, guesses, and trial and error. Finally, a bold idea pops in my head. Call the demolition dog. I've decided on my plan. I silently repeat the words in my heart. As the shadows block my way behind me, Tong clenched her fist behind me. Because I chose to keep going myself. All he could do was frown and watch me charge ahead. Even though I've been enhanced, I don't have much experience, so my moves look kinda clumsy. Right when a few freak corpses blocked my way and reached out to grab me, a fierce growling sound suddenly broke out. It actually worked. I got a little excited for a second. I summoned 3 hunting dogs. They came out looking pumped. All 3 dogs were different breeds, so their reactions were all over the place. One was a big-headed, thick-necked hound. As soon as it appeared, it spotted the weird corpse ahead. It let out a low growl from its throat and lunged right at it. Another was a medium-sized yellow mutt. It scanned the area quick, wagged its tail at me, then followed after the first dog. The last one was black and white, just bouncing around, super excited, watching how the dogs acted. I wondered to myself, did I make a bad deal with these dogs? I used the dogs to clear a path and charged forward. I had thought through every step, even calculated my odds of success. I figured anyone with a normal IQ would decide like me, after thinking it over. But in Tang's eyes, I just looked totally crazy. He couldn't get it at all. How could I just rush into a situation this freaky and summon 3 dogs to lead the way out of nowhere? Before he could ask, I was already using the dogs to help me, forcing a gap in the circle of freak corpses and breaking through. My basic enhancements really improved my physical abilities. My moves weren't bad, just a little clumsy without experience. But I was decisive, dodged a bunch of grabbing hands, and dashed right to the very back of the warehouse. Oh, by the way, one of the 3 dogs was slacking off. They could slow the enemy down, but couldn't finish them off quickly. The corpses regrouped and came at me again. It looked like I'd just walked into a trap myself. But right after entering this area, I stopped moving. I spotted someone completely different from the others. He was a corpse in a white shirt, kneeling in the middle of the warehouse floor. His hands covered his face in pain. Twisted vines spread out from his body, connecting him to the other corpses around us, making this creepy scene. So this is the puppet? I quickly raised my gun. To Tang, it looked like. I'd calmly aimed my gun just a few seconds after scanning the situation. I even seemed kind of smooth, but as soon as I aimed, I dropped the gun again and rushed toward the man, watching from far away. Tang was getting nervous. He was freaking out. He was like, "What's she doing? Just shoot him already." He didn't get it. I'd found the target and could have fired. So why did I lower my gun instead and get closer on purpose? Actually, when things have gotten like this, just shooting the puppet won't fix the problem, because he's already fused with all those freak corpses. You have to clear them all out at once. Honestly, my reason's super basic. I suck at shooting, and there's no way I'd hit him from this far, so I just had to get close as fast as possible, dodging the vines on the ground on my way. While I was running toward him, the guy in the filthy white shirt suddenly moved. He slowly dropped his hands and looked at me. I was super tense. My mind was racing. The moment our eyes met, boom. It was like I got hit by a crazy wave of psychic power. Flashes of wild images shot through my head. I saw his whole life in those visions. It shocked me back to reality. Only a second had passed, but it felt like I'd relived his entire tragic life. My face tensed up, looking at the guy in the white shirt. There was a box of matches at his feet. At first, I gripped my gun, thinking I'd shoot as soon as I got close enough. But suddenly, a wave of emotion slammed into my heart. My movements slowed down. I stepped quietly over to him. The freak corpses behind us were still, fighting with the three dogs in their tangled shadows. He and I stared at each other for a few seconds. Then I grabbed a match off the ground and struck it. I lit it for him. He stayed perfectly still, just watching me quietly. That tiny flame felt like the last warmth in the world. I slowly walked backward. I watched as the fire began to swallow him up. After a few steps, I let out a sigh, then spun around and dashed back toward the others. The three dogs and I dove hard for the exit. The fire spread crazy fast in the warehouse. Thick smoke swallowed up the whole place in no time. I didn't have time to think about anything else. Just sprinted for the door with the dogs. All I wanted was to get out before it got even worse. Tong, waiting outside, was stunned. He stared wide-eyed and gasped. Then he kicked off and crashed right through the roof. Even I was shocked. I was thinking, what, is he a shell turned sentient? Is this guy for real? A bunch of machine monsters blocked the way ahead, reaching out to drag us back. I clenched my teeth and pushed my limits, putting every bit of strength into breaking through. I fought left and right, forcing a path open. We burst through the monsters around us. Right before I ran out of breath, we got out the warehouse doors with the dogs. Just as we got outside, the oil drums inside caught fire, and the whole warehouse exploded into a sea of flames. Any monster that didn't escape in time was totally swallowed up by the fire. I left the inferno behind me, looked up at the stars overhead, and took big gulps of fresh air. Oddly enough, I felt really relaxed. I turned back to look at the burning warehouse, but didn't feel excited about finishing the mission, just sort of empty inside. The three dogs next to me were all hyped, bouncing around and wagging their tails. Tong finally caught up, totally dropped his tough guy act. He came over, looking serious, and asked what I just did. I pointed at the burning warehouse and said I handled the problem. Tang asked if I really had to burn the whole warehouse down to fix it. I explained, just taking out the puppet wasn't enough. Only fire made it safe. What's wrong with that? Tong was totally stunned. My way of handling things was actually by the book. He couldn't help but ask if I was really a rookie. He couldn't have done it that smooth himself. I felt kinda lost and said, "Of course I'm new. Isn't that just what anyone would do?" Tong instantly freaked out and asked, "When has a rookie ever done this well? Who isn't scared their first time?" I thought about it and tried to explain. Maybe strength is just built in. Tong was totally speechless. He originally said that to sound cool, but I actually took it as my life motto. Watching him freak out, I felt a bit worried. So I quickly changed the subject and asked how the puppets form. Tong Tong took a deep breath and explained that there are many reasons for distortions. Some are affected by mysterious sources. Others are transformed by special powers. Or it could be pain building up to the breaking point. Take this puppet for example. It mutated after being pushed to the edge by life's pressure. It can unleash a suffocating force field and attract equally desperate remains to form a suffocation nest. If it's not dealt with in time, it could destroy the whole city. Tong Tong was seriously explaining the rules to me, but I suddenly spaced out. I used to think the city felt so fake, but seeing this puppet, I suddenly got a strange feeling. I guess this is what real feels like. Tong Tong and I made sure we didn't miss anything at the scene, then rode off on our motorcycle as fast as we could.
Tong Tong said.
Those possessed by the suffocation nest can't leave it. Only the source puppet can move around. This puppet didn't really want to escape.
It barely resisted at all.
Tong Tong looked at the ruined, burned-down warehouse and sighed. With such a loud explosion, with a blast this big, we're bound to alert people nearby. Security might even send someone over to check. If we stick around, we might get caught. I thought that sounded ridiculous. We're fixing problems for the city itself, but we still have to worry about getting caught. Tong Tong explained that we're just outsiders, and once our mission points are settled with the city, our deal is done. If security catches us, we'll even have to spend points. But Mr. The keeps in touch with the city to give us alibis and erase any evidence that we were here. I got curious about who Mr. The is. He was the one who messed up the intel last time. I need to remind him to be more careful next time. Tong Tong said I'll meet him eventually. Mr. The and Jia Jia are like our group's brains and heart. I was secretly impressed. So Yang Jia is really that awesome. I was also wondering if I made enough points this time to pay off my debt. I was so generous to him back in high school. He probably won't rush me to pay it back, right? As we headed out of the fire zone at night, my phone suddenly rang. I pulled out my phone and saw an email about mission settlement. Congratulations on finishing the puppet cleanup mission. You've earned 300 points. Please leave the site immediately to avoid getting caught by security. Tang Tang didn't even look back and asked how many points I got. I said 300. That's a lot more than the amount we talked about at first. Tong Tong said it's probably because the situation got upgraded. And Mr. The fought for more points for us. He even joked, "Congrats, you're about to be a pro." That's when it hit me. I asked if us outsiders have ranking levels too. Tong Tong said of course. It's all based on points. Under 100, you're a newbie. 100 to 1,000 makes you a regular. 1,000 to 10,000 is the expert tier. 10,000 to 100,000 is Lord, which is super expert. If you have over 100,000 points, you're in a different league. The gap between each rank is huge, and very few people can fight across tiers. Only branded and collector paths might be able to challenge up a rank.
Tong Tong paused at this point.
Then suddenly asked out of curiosity, "Where did those 3 dogs you took in go? I saw you rushing in with 3 dogs earlier." I felt a bit awkward. I thought he'd forgotten about the dogs. They didn't leave with me earlier. I noticed something weird in the swamp, so I figured they'd find their own way out. I hesitated for a moment and just admitted I bought them. They seemed pretty useful.
Tong Tong suddenly raised his voice
And wanted to turn his head back at me. I quickly turned his head back around so he'd watch the road. Tong Tong suddenly laughed and said my taste is different from others. Other people in our box are just not like you. Most outsiders with extra points for the first time, either buy loved ones out of nightmares or fulfill their own wishes. But I've never seen anyone buy 3 dogs first. I felt much better after hearing that. So I guess I'm not the least reliable one. I grinned and asked, "You guys don't mind I bought dogs, right?" Tang Tang said, "Those points are yours. No one cares what you buy, though it looks a bit wasteful. It's just human nature." I quickly changed the subject and asked if we have our own group or force. Tong Tang answered right away, "We're really strong." Then I asked how I did tonight. Tong Tang paused for a while and said, "Honestly, you did great." That made me really happy inside. It's awesome having a pro's approval. One step closer to joining the team. Having your own group just feels so much safer. Half an hour later, Tang Tang dropped me home. After she drove off, she immediately called Yang Jia and said, Jia Jia, the mission's finished. Yang Jia sounded kind of tired and asked how it all went. Tang Tang said, you're beyond good now. The mission upgraded unexpectedly. At least sea level. Yang Jia was surprised. Asked if you did it yourself? Tang Tang said, nope, nothing to do with me. He finished it on his own. He even made 300 points. And didn't even get hurt. Yang Jia suddenly went silent. Her breathing sounded a bit rushed. Tang Tang said, I can guarantee. He hasn't been enhanced before. Other than a strength factor, there's been no other enhancement, Yang Jia said. But he still completed a 300-point sea-level task with 0 injuries. Tang Tang gave a bitter laugh for a while and said maybe being strong is just his innate talent. Back at home, I was still secretly happy. With over 300 points, I can live comfortably for months. Then I looked up and saw those 3 big dogs staring at me from the wall. They survived the crisis with me. Other than some singed fur, nothing else seemed different. I suddenly felt the city was kind of amazing. I wanted to get them some sausages as a treat, but the neighbor's little girl was already out with a bowl full of meaty bones. The 3 dogs dashed over, tail wagging. I let out a sigh of relief, glad someone else treated them for me. Watching them fight over bones so happily, I couldn't help but feel moved. They're not the strongest fighters, but they're way more loyal than I expected. I suddenly wanted to get them upgraded, but upgrades are just too expensive. It needs 100 points, and I don't know if it'll even work. It might even mess things up. I struggled to decide, still couldn't make up my mind. That night, I finally slept well for once. I had points as a safety net, so I wasn't scared of sudden danger. I had points as a backup. No need to worry about surprise risks. The next day was a day off anyway. No need to go to work. Honestly, I felt really happy. Next day, I yawned and walked out of my bedroom. I was stunned right there. Normally, Mom would be at work at this hour, but she was in the living room, hands covered in flour, making dumplings. Mom saw me come out. She smiled and asked if she woke me up. Said it's a day off. She was making dumplings just for me. It felt a bit weird. It's not even Mom's day off today. But I didn't ask much. Just asked once and went to get water. Grabbed an extra cup and set it next to Mom. Mom seemed super happy seeing the cup. Told me to wash some fruit I'd brought home and eat it. I felt kinda awkward sitting there. Washed my hands and sat down to help make dumplings. Even if she was just in Mom's shape, I couldn't just sit and enjoy. Mom saw the crooked dumplings I made. She was really happy. Said I've grown up. Told me to rest and just chat with her. Asked if work wears me out. Wondered if I could handle it. I just said yeah. Quietly helped out. Around noon, dumplings were ready. We sat at the table, watched TV, and ate dumplings. When we were almost done eating, Mom acted casual and said, today is my dad's birthday. Asked me to visit him tonight. I was stunned. I haven't seen him for 4 years. No contact at all. He had a kid with another woman back then. Mom got divorced and made a new family. I really don't want to see him. And he never messaged me. But Mom clearly wanted me to go. I struggled over it. Still said okay and agreed. Mom saw I wasn't happy. She looked even more pleased. She kept rambling. Dad hasn't cared about us for years. But he's still my dad, so I should go. She said she'd let him know already. Told me to dress nullishly. His family's pretty snobby. I really don't want to go. But I agreed anyway. Finished eating, washed dishes, and went back to my room to do research. Didn't get changed and go out till Mom knocked in the afternoon. I took the subway. Went straight to a fancy restaurant in Shansheng. Spotted the man in the middle of everyone. Hair slicked back. He looked awkward when he saw me. Finally nodded after a while. I walked over and nodded back. Didn't say anything. Skipped the awkward greetings. He didn't say much either. Just pointed me to a corner seat. I wasn't upset. Quietly sat down. Watched everything coldly. A bunch of guests recognized me. They all said I looked just as handsome as my dad used to. Next to him sat his wife now. And a chubby kid. The woman sitting next to me is my dad's current wife. And there's a chubby little boy. That's my half-brother. When that woman heard others praising me, she rolled her eyes. She didn't say a word to me the whole time. My dad was busy greeting the guests. After we sat down, he finally found time to ask why I hadn't called in 4 years. He even asked if my health was better. I nodded and said I was almost recovered. When my dad saw I was being cold, he looked unhappy. He frowned and said he heard from my mom that I'd been staying home all the time. He said if you stay home too long, you'll turn useless. He suggested I get a job at his company. Before he finished talking, that woman already had a sour face. She purposely started talking loudly to someone next to her about other people's kids getting into college. She just changed the subject. I watched the drama unfolding at this birthday dinner and thought it was even more interesting than the weird stuff I'd seen before. I didn't feel like arguing, so I just quietly observed. After that woman kept giving my dad looks for ages, he finally found a chance to tell me, to let my mom know, that the old house in Shancheng district was too run down, and it wasn't convenient to live there. He wanted us to move out. He said he'd rent us a better place. I quickly caught the problem in his words. I looked up at him in surprise. After my parents divorced, my dad moved out and bought another place. That old house was supposed to be for me and my mom. The place didn't have great facilities, but it was right next to the business center, and it had a small yard. It's actually really valuable. The plan was for that house to be mine someday. Now he wants us to move out and rent a place. Facing my surprised look, my dad wouldn't meet my eyes. He turned and clinked glasses with someone else. The woman next to him looked down her nose and glared at me. I understood immediately they had their eyes on that house. Everyone else at the table was busy talking business and making toasts. No one was paying attention to us. I was left out in the corner, totally like an outsider. The 5-year-old by that woman's side crawled over and started rummaging through my bag. I didn't stop him. That woman acted like she didn't see it either. The kid made a mess everywhere, and even reached into my pocket, pulling out a toy gun. He started pointing it around excitedly. That woman just rolled her eyes again and said, "How old are you? Still playing with guns and games? Are you nuts?" At first, my dad didn't care. Then he noticed how real that gun looked, and his face changed instantly. I quickly grabbed the gun back and stuffed it into my pocket. The kid bawled when his toy was taken, cried right on the spot, sighed I stole his stuff. My dad started breathing hard, with a look of shock, like he escaped a disaster. He looked at me in disbelief. Meeting his eyes, I said, "My mom has had it rough these years. If you really need the house back, fine. Buy her a new place. Put her name on it. Make sure it has an elevator, and don't let it be too small. Give us some compensation too. Her name has to be on it, and it needs an elevator. Don't skimp on the size. And give extra compensation. She works full-time and handles the chores. She's exhausted." My dad was so intimidated, he didn't dare refuse. He stammered that he'd think about it. That woman got pissed right away, pulled the kid over and asked my dad what he was saying. Suddenly my dad snapped and yelled at her to shut up. The whole table froze, staring. The vibe turned awkward instantly. I packed my things, stood up and said I had to work early tomorrow, so I wouldn't stay for cake. Happy birthday. With that, I left the room. I could feel my dad staring after me, full of fear. No matter how well these people pretend to be human, I just can't play along. On my subway ride home, watching the city lights go by, it all felt so strange. Everything was fake. When I got home, my mom was cleaning up leftover dumplings. She said my dad just called asking if I'd gotten home. He asked how the two of us were doing. I asked if dad mentioned anything about buying a house. My mom looked surprised and said she liked living here. It's a great location, has a yard, perfect for my wedding in the future. I sighed inside, she's too naive. The house is still in my dad's name. He already wants it back. I didn't bother explaining it all to her, just went quietly to my room. Tonight's dinner was a total disaster, full of fake smiles, and not a single bit of belonging for me, no matter how friendly they acted. All I could feel was cold to the bone. It was pure loneliness. Honestly, I only relaxed a bit around young Jiatang and those guys. They were the only people I could hang out with. I poked my head out the window and saw the neighbors' 3 hounds lying on their wall. Suddenly, I had an idea. Maybe I could strengthen them again. Anyway, I didn't need to pay back Young's points just yet. I could upgrade the dogs and buy a few extra things. Meanwhile, in a fancy apartment, Aunt Wang was smashing things in anger, mad at my dad for scolding her in front of everyone, and for standing up for me. My dad sat on the couch smoking, frowning and asking her, didn't she notice something felt off today? Aunt Wang got even angrier. She said, You just can't get over your ex-wife. She said the house was needed above anyway. So what's wrong with just taking it directly? But my dad cut her off and asked if she still remembered my illness before. Aunt Wang just sneered and said I was faking it for 4 years. Faked it so much I messed myself up. My dad went quiet for a while and sighed quietly. He said he used to think I was faking too. But now it feels like something really is weird about me. That night I slept great. Ever since I realized I was a stranger in this city, the panic and anxiety have been so much lighter. The tension doesn't last as long now. My mind still races sometimes, but I'm learning to focus my attention and slowly getting used to this bizarre world. Focusing my attention and adapting to this strange world. Honestly, the pressure's way lower now. The next day I was up early, getting ready to work at the docks. Mom's fried bread stuffed in my mouth. And as soon as I stepped out, I saw the 3 cute neighbor dogs lying on the fence, wagging their tails at me. It gave me an idea. I checked that no one was around, then pulled the sausage out of my fried bread and walked up to the fence. The 3 dogs got super hyped when I came over. I feel especially close to these dogs. Totally different from how nervous I used to be. They even seemed to really listen to me. I tossed in a sausage and quietly told them not to fight, but to share. The dogs who were just jumping around got calm immediately. They all took nice, polite bites. The black and white one looked a little annoyed. But as soon as the black dog growled, it behaved right away. I found it funny the more I watched. Leaning on the fence, I kept telling them what to do. The yellow dog ran over and bit the black and white one's tail. Black and white barked really loud. I had them sing again. Black and white instantly tilted his head back and belted out a high note. Honestly, he seemed to enjoy it. Then I gave them another command. All 3 dogs turned to me with sad faces. So they have their own moods too. I was thinking about upgrading them. Suddenly, I heard a shy girl's voice. I looked up and saw Nuo in a white dress. She came out holding half a bag of dog food. She's my neighbor. She's about 7 or 8 years younger than me. We've known each other since we were kids. I felt kind of awkward, so I quickly smiled and said the dogs are really cute. Nuo just mumbled a reply. She poured half a bag of dog food into the bowl. But the 3 dogs didn't even look at it. They just kept wagging their tails at me. Nuo was stunned right there. Standing by the bowl, she looked abandoned. I shot the 3 dogs a look. They went back to their food but clearly didn't want to. I was about to leave. Then I noticed something. There was a bruise the size of a coin by Nuo's mouth and a band-aid on her wrist. I was curious. Suddenly, Nuo blushed and called out to me. She took a long time to ask if she could borrow 2,000 yuan. She promised she'd pay me back. I remembered her mom runs a business. Her family is actually pretty well off. Why would she need to borrow money from me? I was confused for a moment, but seeing her head down, not daring to look at me, I couldn't say no, so I nodded. Nuo was really moved. She added my contact info, kept promising she'd pay me back. I turned to catch the subway to work, glanced back before leaving. Felt like I was more bonded with the 3 dogs. I thought again about upgrading them, but each upgrade costs 100 points. I still owe the Yangs 100 points, so honestly it hurts a bit. I just sat down. I still owe the Yangs 100 points, so honestly it hurts a bit. As soon as I got on the subway, I got a message from Tang, the design guy. He asked if I checked my points. I checked them yesterday. 303 points came in. I asked if he wanted to split some of my Yang points. Should I pay them back now? Tang said no need. Yang family doesn't care about the 100 points. He didn't really help anyway. So just leave it. He also said with 300 points. My upgrades are at a key spot now. I can exchange them for 1 ultimate upgrade item, or save up 600 points for 3 at once. Newbies usually buy one as soon as they can, but I used 3 basic upgrades just days ago. Getting an ultimate one now is too soon. He gave me 2 suggestions. Use 300 to buy a strong weapon, or save up to 600 for the ultimate upgrade. In the meantime, I can decide my main path. I actually trust the pro's advice, so I agreed immediately. Looking at my 300 plus points, I was still thinking about upgrading the dogs. Suddenly I smelled something amazing. I'm still unsure how to upgrade those big dogs. Really not sure about it. Main thing is, I barely know how upgrades work in this world. Can't figure out the logic. I'm afraid to risk it. I don't know after upgrading how strong they'll get, or what's the real key to a good upgrade. I really just don't get it right now. And you can't really ask about stuff like this. Tang Tang and the other upgrade designers hate these paths. And it's not right to ask the youngs. I still owe them 100 points. Using points on dogs would sound pretty bad. It'd just sound wrong talking about it. Got to work, changed into my uniform, and started another day. Just loaned Inonu 2,000 yuan. That's like 4 days' pay for me. If she doesn't pay me back, it's fine. I'll just take those 3 purebred dogs from her place. That thought got me through till lunchtime. Had my lunch, and sat on a couch with AC in warehouse too. The supervisor walked past with a work dispatch sheet. Normally, anyone else hanging out here with the AC, he'd have yelled at them already. So that actually made me feel better. Blondie couldn't stand me just sitting there. He tossed his cigarette and called me to go deliver goods. This was actually Blondie's turn to deliver. He was just being lazy, making me do it. I glanced at the dispatch sheet, but said nothing. Just followed them out quietly. Just loaded the goods onto the truck. And the supervisor showed up with people. As soon as I got in the truck, he asked why it was me. I said Blondie said his foot hurt, so he had me cover for him. The supervisor just sneered and walked off, then told everyone to go haul cargo from the west warehouse. Just sneered and walked off. Then told everyone to go haul cargo from the west warehouse. All cargo had to be moved in just 3 hours. Everyone else was stunned. They thought the afternoon would be easy. Blondie quickly tried to say it was his turn to deliver. Supervisor just dragged him back in. Weren't you just complaining your foot hurt? If your foot hurts, you can't haul cargo either, right? Tell your Uncle Wang to come do it for you. Always looking to slack off. You think you can take advantage of me every time? As Blondie watched jealously, I rode off in the truck. All I had to do was unload at the destination. Doesn't pay much, but way easier than moving cargo for 3 hours. 1 hour later, we got to the mall in the lower city. Unloaded the goods, signed off and done with work. Still early. The driver, another loader and I just rested on the street. Everyone agreed. We'd just wait until the work at the docks was done before heading back. I'm here to improve myself working at the docks. But if I can slack off, I will. That's how you respect your job? The street was lively. We work at the docks every day, so we rarely see a scene like this. A few loaders joked about the girls walking by. I couldn't really join in their conversation. I just spaced out next to them. Right then, a group of flashy girls crossed the street, linking arms and laughing loudly as they walked by. The guys didn't dare look at them too much, afraid they'd actually get rough. Suddenly I froze. I saw in the crowd, Nonuo in a white dress had someone holding her by the neck. She was in the middle. I was about to say hi, but Nonuo saw me and looked awkward. She avoided eye contact and pretended not to see me. So I swallowed my greeting, watched them all laugh as they went into the alley behind the mall. The driver only realized I was missing a while later. Something just didn't feel right to me. So I quietly followed the group of girls. Made it to the second floor platform by the mall. You could hear them talking down in the alley. I thought it was just a kid's argument. I was about to leave. I've seen too many twisted things in this city. I didn't take this kind of small stuff seriously. Then I heard a soft crying from below. Please, just let me go. I'll do anything you say. I stopped dead in my tracks. Maybe it's really just a small matter. But the despair in that crying felt so real. I just couldn't walk away. Let you go. And then what? Hey, we're all friends here. Inside the narrow alley, some voices sounded desperate, but some were actually happy. I was standing on the second floor platform, and I could hear their laughter without even trying. On the other side, in the cafe, the woman in sunglasses was lost in thought, staring outside. You're right here. When all of a sudden, inside the cafe, the woman in sunglasses was still staring out the window, lost in thought. Then she heard a hesitant voice next to her. He turned and saw it was the cafe staff. The other person stared at him for a long time. Surprised, it's really you. Zhang Zhao, it's me, Zhao Qian. We hung out together all the time in high school. He smiled and stepped forward, but suddenly stopped. Only up close did he notice. Her hand holding the coffee cup was shaking. Even the coffee was rippling inside the cup. The staff's smile turned so awkward. She quickly apologized. I squatted on the second floor platform, suddenly feeling cold all over. Honestly, I'd already come to terms with the fact this world is full of monsters. But this scene still shook me. Nuo's cries rang out, sounding so weak compared to everyone else's laughter. Then it hit me. This girl who loves wearing white dresses. I finally understood why she kept 3 fierce dogs. Maybe it's a small deal to adults, but to her, it's like her whole world crashed. Quietly, I closed my eyes, trying to remember the feeling of summoning those 3 dogs. Then my eyes snapped open. I called out in a low voice. Just as Nuo was about to give up hope, she suddenly heard those familiar growls. No one knew when, but 3 big dogs appeared at the alley entrance. They showed their fangs, bracing themselves, and slowly closed in. Nuo suddenly saw hope. She shouted with all her might. As soon as the words left her mouth, the 3 dogs charged forward, aggressive. The girls around her screamed in terror and ran off right away. They didn't even care about dropping their phones and slippers. The 3 dogs chased after them, scaring them all to tears. I stood on the second floor platform, just quietly watching it all. I was the one who summoned the dogs, and I gave the order. I had them teach those people a real lesson. Those girls showing off before. Now they're so scared their souls flew off. Suddenly, I felt the card in my pocket vibrate faintly. I took out my phone to look. There was a message I couldn't show anyone. Item name: 3 adorable hounds. Detected rising pain material. Do you want to enhance them? The enhancement cost kept dropping. This was honestly the first time I've seen this happen. I was full of surprise. What a pity. Then an unfamiliar voice spoke behind me. This could have been the perfect time to harvest pain material. That startled me. I spun around fast, but found no one behind me. I was standing on a little platform on the second floor. The door behind me was locked. The platform was tiny. No way anyone could hide there. But I really did hear that voice. It was no illusion. This weird feeling had me kind of on edge too. I quickly scanned every corner of the platform. It's not a hallucination. This creepy feeling's making me a bit tense too. I scan every corner of the platform fast, and my pupils narrow a bit. I look at the hole in the upper left corner of the platform. It's an abandoned pipe hole, maybe 20 centimeters wide at most. Pure darkness. No clue where it leads. Someone's actually crawling out slowly. They've got a dark red card in their mouth. It's exactly like mine. I nearly jump, but I'm so tense I barely react. Makes me look way too calm. I ask who they are. They say they're Zhao Si, an investigator with the outsider group in Blackgate City. The Yang family sent them to check things out. They talk while reaching a hand out to me. I vaguely remember Tang mentioning that name. The outsiders in Blackgate have a support group. Zhao Si's the one she talked about before. I'm still a bit on guard, but I shake their hand after hesitating. Turns out they weakly say. They actually just wanted a handout. My face stays blank. I grab their hand and pull them out of the hole. This person looks young, really pale, eyes squinting, avoiding eye contact. Super skinny. Honestly curious how they even fit through the hole. I ask if they know me. Zhao Si says my cousin mentioned me. Sighed, I'm a newbie with huge potential. Handsome and strong. Handled a C-level case, no injury as a rookie. And I like to feed dogs weird stuff. I freeze a couple seconds and instantly realize my cousin made all that up. Quietly explain, it's a mix-up. He was just joking. I changed the subject. Ask what she meant by pain matter just now. Zhao Si looks surprised. Says the girl. The pain inside her was at the limit. Almost mutated. If we'd waited until mutation to step in, we could have scored a ton of points. My expression changes a bit. Remember fighting that mutant before. That neighbor girl barely avoided turning into that. I say calmly she's my neighbor. Zhao Si says, oh. Nods and says, no wonder you saved her. Now she released her pain. She won't mutate. Zhao Si looks toward the alley. Asks if I bought those 3 dogs after I woke up. I feel a little awkward. Said they're pretty cute, aren't they? Zhao Si watches the alley, whispering, you take such good care of them. I'm a bit helpless.
It's clear he doesn't buy my story.
Suddenly, I get goosebumps. A crushing sense of danger hits me. Zhao Si is shocked too. Says, wow, our luck is intense. At the coffee shop by the street, The waitress trembles in front of the woman in sunglasses. She forces a smile and calls her Zhang. At the coffee shop by the street, the waitress trembles in front of the woman in sunglasses.
She forces a smile and calls him.
Zhang Xiao says it's all in the past now. They were young back then. It was just a little fight. Notices Zhang Xiao's nice clothes. Asks for her contact info. To stay in touch. Says coffee's on him today. As an apology. Sunglasses, wearing Zhang Xiao's voice shakes. Her coffee cup suddenly drops to the floor. Shatters everywhere. Her voice goes shrill. She cries out, totally losing it. How can you just show up in front of me like this? And make me remember everything? You think a cup of coffee fixes things? Why? The waitress feels humiliated. Starts getting mad too. Snaps. Who do you think you are? When she hears those 3 words, Zhang Zhao suddenly clutches her head, screams in pain. So loud the coffee shop windows buzz. She crouches, keeps screaming, I worked so hard to forget. Why do you have to make me remember? The waitress backs away, scared, mumbling, it was just a joke back then. But now Zhang Zhao's screams are getting louder. Crystal-like pale red vines start appearing on her. They creep over the floor and walls fast. I'm right at the shop next door. And see those crazy red vines spreading. Instantly on alert. Jiaxi gets so excited she turns red. Says that's the swamp of despair. She complained about lost points just now. But we just hit a gold mine. Let's go. We're about to score big. I'm not sure what's going on. Why did Swamp of Despair just pop up here? No matter how hard I think, I can't magically find an answer. But I make up my mind pretty fast. I have to check it out. First time seeing Jiaoxi. I've checked her ID card. Her ID checks out. Plus those 3 dogs of mine. With all that commotion in the alley. The cost to power them up dropped from 100 to just 30 points. I'm really tempted to try now. Still don't get how powering up works. But a free boost's never a bad deal. Can't lose here. Plus, Xiaoxi said we're hitting it big. No way, I'm missing out. I nod right away. I'm going. Gonna get some help too. Xiaoxi sees my reaction. And is still thinking. No wonder Cousin Tang and Old Yang both say. This rookie has potential. Just being this calm is rare. When my brother started out, and Cousin first saw a chicken mutate, they freaked out like crazy. No in the alley clings to his dog. Finally feeling safe, suddenly panic hits him. He snaps out of it. All those times he wished he could walk these 3 dogs and scare those bullies away. But he knew he'd never really do it. He's still confused about having these dogs and scaring the bullies off. But deep down he knows he'd never try it. Puzzled why the dogs showed up out of nowhere. He realizes they aren't even looking at him. Crumbs on their mouths. They look fierce, but so gentle now. All of them wag their tails, staring at the sky in the same direction. He's still wondering when someone jumps lightly from the 2nd floor platform 3 to 4 meters up. Lands steady, no problem at all. Wearing rugged, blue work clothes. With a pale, handsome face. They smile at him. Whistles. The big black and yellow dogs wag their tails and run straight over. Only the husky in his arms senses his fear and stays put. No looks at me, shocked and unsure. Calls me Brother Zhao. He saw me on the street before. Didn't want me to see him like this. So he didn't say hi, now that he sees the dogs so close to me.
He quickly figures out I helped him.
I tell him to hurry home where it's safe and hand him 20 bucks. Tells him to catch a ride after 2 more blocks. Nono's about to cry. I nodded instinctively. I turned and walked out of the alley. The 2 hounds happily followed right beside me. The husky seemed a bit anxious. He looked like he was left behind. I knew he was still scared, so I wasn't planning to take the husky away. Wanted to leave him some sense of safety. But Manuel quickly snapped out of it. She brushed the dust off her clothes. Before running off, she told the husky to follow me. I was pretty surprised. She didn't even know I bought these dogs. Why tell the husky to follow me? Is it the city affecting things? Or is this girl just really sharp? I didn't have time to think. Watched Nonuo wipe her face and run out of the alley. The 3 fierce dogs were ready, squatting at my feet. The servant's voice came from behind. He said at first the cousin told him I bought 3 dogs. He didn't get it. But now it finally makes sense. He saw me come out with 3 big hounds. He thought it looked awesome. Earlier he thought newcomers in the circle Always liked doing flashy things. Pointless tricks. But now he sees. Buying dogs as helpers during the newbie phase is actually the smartest move. When he first awakened, all he cared about was food and getting along with Antang, so he could get 2 extra pieces of meat when eating. The 2 of us walked out of the alley with the dogs. Chaos everywhere. People kept screaming, running away from the coffee shop. Cars crashing all over. Could vaguely see the coffee shop area. Lots of people moving strangely, grabbing others uncontrollably. People crashing into the coffee shop. Could vaguely see the coffee shop area. Lots of people moving strangely, grabbing others uncontrollably. Inside the coffee shop, there was some dark red vine-like stuff, constantly spreading outward. My head suddenly felt fuzzy, like the sound got distorted, water in my ears. Just looking at those dark red vines seems to mess with my brain waves. Memories flashing like a broken TV signal. I instinctively raised my voice and asked Zhao Si, "What is this thing?" Zhao Si said, "It's sequence No. 29's mutated creature, Despair Vine. Painful memories torture people over and over, making their minds collapse. These vines affect the mental world around them, trigger bad memories, and make people lose their minds. Those who break end up creating new despair vines. Spread out, it's a sea-level disaster. Despair swamp. Right now we've only got the despair vine. Hasn't had time to fully spread. The core mutated creature's pain is way too strong. Just erupted and already spreading. Calling it despair swamp isn't wrong. I was thinking it over. So this is just a D-level event." Zhao Si saw how calm I was and thought, so cool. Just a few days and even D-level events aren't a big deal. Some people don't even worry about C-level events. He quickly explained, it's technically D-level, but other factors matter. We're in a busy area. Lots of people are in danger. Solving this, you get points for saving threatened people, more points for clearing hidden threats, and yet more points for threats. Add them up. Might even earn more than a smaller C-level threat. I was surprised and kind of excited. Forced myself to stay calm. Asked, "What should we do?" Lao Si said, "Block off the street first. Let people out but not in. The faster this thing spreads, the more we can harvest. But if you let it spread, the city's will gives us a lower rating. You won't earn much. Malice goes up a lot." I looked at the chaotic street, asked how to block it off. Zhao Si said, "Of course, get the staff involved." I was kind of surprised. "We can call in official help?" Then Zhao Si stopped a panicked passerby, borrowed their phone. They were too busy escaping, so it didn't ask much. Handed over the phone and ran. Zhao Si called the emergency line, said there was a serious safety risk here. It'll explode in 10 minutes. Asked them to block off the area now. Evacuate people.
Hung up.
Told me to move. We've got 10 minutes to fix this. I watched Zhao Si operate smoothly on the broken phone. My eyes felt a little dazed. Zhao Si said you gotta be flexible with your principles. This thing is a real problem. I watched Zhao Si work smoothly with the messed up phone. My eyes felt a little dazed. Zhao Si said you gotta be flexible with your principles. This isn't something security can handle. If they rush in, they'll just suffer. But they need to come block things off, so the problem doesn't spread. One call. Got them to help close the road. And gave us room to work. Smart, I thought makes sense. Feels like I'm learning so much from the old crew. We kept moving while chatting, walking through the scared crowd toward the coffee shop. The chilling sense of danger rushed over. I could hear my heavy heartbeat. Sometimes my thoughts weren't connecting to reality. I pushed down those feelings, stopped myself from overthinking too soon. Zhao Si seemed excited, looked at me, suddenly a little discouraged. He thought, I've been in the outsiders so long, and still get nervous, but this rookie faces madness, and stays so calm. Is that the difference? While Zhao Si felt frustrated and excited, I turned and asked him, what should we do? The old Zhao Si paused, realized he's the veteran, saw me respecting him, felt a little grateful, quickly said, we split up. You handle the pain and mind of that thing inside. I'll stop the area from spreading and check something while I'm at it. Curiously asked what kind of people. Zhao Si just said, they're crazy folks who show up around mutant events. I don't need to know yet. He said, solve our problems. Split the points. Ask how I felt about it. I agreed right away. Great. I get to see a mutant creature born myself. And also watch the dogs change. It's a rare chance. Plus, Zhao Si is a pro. He said it's fine. Of course I can handle it. Zhao Si thought. I took care of the suffocation nest easily before. So this is nothing. We split up right away. Even though Zhao Si looks skinny and walks slow, once he moved, he darted into the shadows. Vanished from sight. I took a deep breath, stayed cool and focused. I walked toward the cafe with 3 alert dogs. As soon as I got within 10 meters of the cafe, my brain suddenly felt scrambled like mixed up signals. Everything started going crazy inside my head. Tons of painful memories flashed through my mind. Every desperate moment I've ever had in my life all hit me at once. Zhao Si was watching from under the eaves, totally stunned. He saw me facing those dark red vines in the cafe, walking in with a calm, cold expression. He couldn't understand at all. How can he face his most painful memories head-on? Is this guy even capable of emotion? After mumbling to himself, he moved into action too.
He quickly noticed the scarlet vines creeping along the wall.
The red vines looked just like bright Boston ivy. They'd already spread out more than 30 meters from the cafe. Zhao Si hurried toward the edge of the vines. He slashed at the spreading vines with his blade, all while scanning for anyone suspicious. He took a lap around, but found nothing. He grew suspicious. Was this whole incident really an accident? A few blocks away in a narrow alley, a group of people in white hazmat suits suddenly appeared. They carried delicate instruments, quickly gathering anything left behind in the alley. They reported back. Investigation Team 4 is now on the scene, scanning for traces left behind. Results confirmed that Subject 019 failed to vaporize. Not far away in a tall building, a group in white coats stared at the computer data, frowning. They said Subject 019 from Facility 1 was supposed to be the test most likely to succeed, but somehow it still failed. One staff member said it was because a mutated runaway showed up during the experiment, messing up the test. A woman in a black uniform looked cold and detached, her eyes fixed on my face on the screen. She questioned harshly and impatiently. Why was number 0, the one we abandoned, at the scene? I never thought before that memories could be as sharp as blades. All kinds of things I'd long forgotten suddenly surged up from deep inside me, tearing my mind almost to pieces. The pain nearly made me clutch my chest and collapse. I thought those old wounds had already healed, but they just ripped open again. Frustration and despair swallowed me whole. The whole cafe was filled with that weird dark red substance. It covered the walls and the floor everywhere. All the bystanders inside had their eyes closed, wandering around the store stuck in a loop. No one could escape. When they saw me, they reached out their hands toward me. Just as one of their hands almost touched me, I'd been frozen in pain, unable to move. But I suddenly snapped out of it. My mind-blasting powers kicked in. I dodged the grabbing hand in a flash, spun around and knocked the person out with my gun stock. Once they collapsed, the dark red stuff on them faded a lot. Clenching my teeth, I checked my surroundings. I finally understood. This was the power of one of those adaptive creatures. It could drag people's pain from deep inside their minds and strip away their self-control. But I didn't expect my mind-blasting ability could drag out my sense of time so much that all this pain was spread out and felt much weaker. I could barely keep my sanity. I took a deep breath and signaled my 3 hounds to clear a path. The 3 hounds were already hurt too. I was already affected, felt pretty down, got energized as soon as the order came. Growling low, they charged ahead. They plowed right through the chaotic crowd. I strode after them, heading in. But right then, a string of prompts suddenly popped up in my head. Detected. The hounds have consumed enough special substance. You can now reinforce with 0 points. Turns out my guess was right. I instantly shouted enhance. A mysterious gaze swept over the 3 hounds. Their bodies started cracking and creaking. Speeded up. Their dark red eyes were glowing, creepy bright. Their fangs nearly doubled in size. I was stunned right there. It looked just like the nightmare I had for 4 years. A new message suddenly flashed in my mind. Special hazard, Hounds of Pain. Threat level, C. Even the intro's a joke. I was totally confused. I didn't think much, just ordered them to attack. The three hounds of pain dashed out like maniacs. The abnormal figures nearby got knocked over in a flash. Even the spreading dark red vines got ripped to shreds. The vines outside even started pulling back. The attendants handling anomalies outside were shocked and thrilled. They thought, wow, this newbie is wild. Forced the mutated thing to protect itself this fast. In the coffee shop, everyone emptied out around me right away. With 3 dogs guarding me, the anomaly couldn't get close at all. I kept walking inside. Saw someone curled up on the couch. That's the pain core. Everyone in and outside the shop was influenced by that thing. The moment I stared at them, painful memories surged in my mind. Countless images flickered before my eyes. It was him getting bullied at school, then admitted to a psychiatric hospital, finally working up the courage to face reality again, actually having a quiet afternoon for once, sitting by the window with coffee, and looking up to see one of his old bullies. The guy even greeted him with a smile. I jolted hard, snapping out of utter despair. Never would have guessed that this kind of crushing despair came from such a miserable woman. I pulled out my gun, was gonna just take out the pain core, then saw a female clerk standing nearby. She was the one who started the bullying years ago. So close to the pain core, yet somehow still rational, because all that pain to her was just meaningless jokes. Her eyes wide open, she begged me to save her. I chuckled a bit and pushed her right onto the core. Then I fired without hesitation, emptied all 6 bullets. All the anomaly around us just froze for a second. Everyone's pain slowly faded away. The pain core finally regained sanity before death, stared at her old bully beside her, and managed a relief smile. Just then Jossie rushed in, looking at the female clerk, totally confused. He goes, "Why'd you take her out too?" "That's gonna cost you points." I smiled and said it's fine. Just testing the gun, that's all. Jossie got spooked and stepped back. "Let's get out of here. Security will be here soon for sure." He subconsciously edged away from me, glanced at the chaotic street, whispered, "You go first. I'll cover the rear, see if there's anything else to clean up. Don't worry, I'm good at dodging pursuit." Jossie had so much he wanted to ask, like why those scary-looking 3 dogs sat by my side like good boys. What was up with that? Or if that earlier test was at all reasonable. But he didn't really dare ask. I had plenty of questions too, like how I could upgrade my 3 dogs for free. And what exactly is pain substance anyhow? But I'm still a rookie. The veterans had it all planned. No way I could disobey orders. This Xiaoxi guy actually made a good impression.
But he...
Said he's got experience evading security. What's his deal? Does he do this a lot? Agreed to split the mission points 50-50 afterwards. I quickly left the coffee shop. A lot of people made it out alive, but most were confused and dazed. No one noticed us. No traces left behind. I sent my 3 dogs home first, looped back to the street where I was resting with 2 co-workers. Total chaos broke out here earlier. My co-workers had already bolted. Our cargo truck was still there. I thought about it, left the truck alone, slipped away with the panicked crowd, kept my cool the whole time. The security staff around didn't suspect a thing. Headed down into the metro. Didn't go back to the dock, just caught the train home. The subway moved through the city, broken city lights flashing by outside, drawing twisted, dotted lines. My phone rang. I checked it, saw an email quietly sitting in my inbox. Still from that guy named the emergency mission, Despair Vines, level D. People rescued, 109 mission points, 60. Bonus reward points, 545. Penalty, 100 points for collateral injury. Half your 505 points go to your partner. Assigned to the partner, which is 253 points. I thought to myself, put my phone away, looked up. The subway just broke out of the dark tunnel, gliding along the city's sky rail. Brilliant, shining lights in the distance. Looked like vivid oil paintings in my eyes. I stared at the silent buildings under neon lights, almost picturing them slowly moving, almost seeing deep in the city. A giant eye opening, meeting my gaze, cold and calm. This city is one giant monster. So all the people I see, are they just parts of it? Or puppets it's controlling? It seems to have clear rules.
encourages outsiders like me
To help in these weird disasters, and rescue those who might otherwise be lost. and offers big rewards. You get 5 points for every life saved, but lose 100 points if you kill one. Guess that's because every local is a part of it? I know deep down, that wasn't an accident earlier. It was totally on purpose. Even losing 100 points, I don't regret it. It's still hard for me to understand. Mutated creatures, pain substance, locals, outsiders, or this giant monster city, how they're all connected. Is it really like Yang said before? Outsiders. Just clear out the city's hidden dangers? But why do I feel so distant from these protected locals? So cut off from them, yet twisted creatures always hit me right in the heart. I pondered this for a long time, then shook my head a little and looked up. Neon flickers everywhere. The buildings are just silent and solid. They haven't moved at all. No matter what, now I've got more points again. I still haven't used the previous 300 points. Now I earned another 253 points. Almost 600 now. It's pretty easy to earn, maybe in this city. I shouldn't waste energy thinking about questions with no answers. I should focus on leveling up faster. Over by the coffee shop where the incident happened, security at the scene is totally overwhelmed, endlessly calling for updates, always reporting to the higher-ups, constantly calming the chaotic crowd. After more than 10 minutes, they finally got the special experts they were waiting for. But the people in white hazmat suits aren't like they expected. The equipment they brought doesn't look like typical detection gear. They pulled in all the surveillance footage. The lead guy didn't even bother. He wasn't even wearing a hazmat suit, just had a wrinkled suit on, smoking a cigarette, waving his hand carelessly, and told someone to buy him a lunchbox. Security staff were a bit stunned by this rude dude, but remembering the orders from above, they just followed protocol, handed over the authority to these mysterious investigators. A while later, the guy sat on the curb across from the coffee shop, smoking and eating his lunch, with his laptop hooked up to the surveillance system, screens flashing everywhere. The chaos around didn't affect his appetite at all. He scarfed down his food and finished checking all the footage. The final screen showed a person in a hoodie, weaving through the crowd. He put his cigarette but in the lunch leftovers, tossed it aside, mumbled and grabbed his phone. Nothing left to investigate. Those crazies are still acting out their so-called justice. But Lin Hao really did show up at the scene. Seems he played a big part. You guessed right. He's already been assimilated by the crazies. He's now a fresh member they recruited. But shouldn't have been long. On the other end of the call, they didn't sound too strict. Just said a few words. But the man impatiently switched hands with the phone. Don't expect me to fix this issue. I'm just here to investigate. Even you guys are scared of them, right? Word is, that kind of abnormal state can spread. Anyway, I'm not going. If you really want to deal with him, get someone from Red Eye Club. They've already been bought by Black Forest, right? Only crazies can go all out in this city. Against those people. When I walked out of the subway, I was already feeling super calm. Stopped by the convenience store for 3 hot dogs. Then quickly got to my neighbor's yard. Sure enough, those 3 vicious dogs that disappeared are back. Standing right in the yard. Faster than my subway ride. Honestly, it's amazing. This time, I ended up helping the neighbor's little sister and upgraded the 3 dogs for free. But when I looked at them again, they didn't seem to have changed much. Their fur grew back just fine. The explosive look from before was probably just an illusion. Dumb ones are still dumb. Silly ones still silly. Smart ones still smart. The silly look is still there. And the clever ones, eyes are just sharp and smart. But I could feel their bodies hold some kind of powerful force now. Right about now, they've adjusted to their upgrades. Excitedly running around the yard. Even though shortcuts aren't great, seems I bet right this time. I watched closely. Made sure these 3 vicious dogs showed no signs of turning into some bizarre creature. I felt a bit hyped inside. By collector standards, these 3 dogs should count as special entities now. At this moment, I still don't know much about this strange world, but I've figured out their free upgrade seems connected to the pain they've consumed. Thinking about it further, maybe upgrade points are actually money to buy pain. If I just help upgrade them out of nowhere, the 100 points spent are basically used to buy pain from the city's will. That's their purpose. And this time, first the three were summoned by me, helped the neighbor's little sister, taught those bullying kids a lesson, consumed some pain, then went through the swamp of despair, got enough pain for upgrades. And by that point,
They
either transformed under pain or became upgraded beings coexisting with pain. So the conclusion is, pain is the core for upgrade and mutation. Energy conservation works here too. I quietly thought it over and started to piece things together. The three dogs fought the suffocating tide, ate a lot of stuff, but showed no signs of an upgrade. So the tide and the swamp have different kinds of pain, totally different qualities. I even suspect this city has a pain material classification chart.
Dee Dee sighed.
I realized there's a logic behind all this weirdness, but I've only seen a bit so far. Can't really make solid guesses. I stopped overthinking, praised the three dogs in the yard. The dogs, full of energy as usual, went crazy running around. They can't understand human words, but they can sense I'm happy with them. I smiled at them, held out my hand and said, "Bite me." The three dogs were confused instantly. I gently urged them to bite. No hard feelings. It's their first upgrade after all. Got to test the new ability. Can't just do experiments with random people out on the street. The fierce black dog raised its head and stubbornly refused. Would rather bite itself than me. Yellow dog was stubborn too. Would rather bite itself than me. It squatted there, looking all honest, pretending not to hear. Only the black and white dog hesitated, then suddenly took a bite of my hand. My palm hurt like crazy, and a bunch of weird memories flooded in.
Luckily,
My special abilities helped me stabilize. I was surprised to find they gained the ability to disrupt painful memories and mess with your mind. That's probably because they feed on this kind of special stuff. The black and white dog saw me happy and looked eager to take another bite. I waved my hand and said that's enough. Then I took out the 3 sausages I bought, gave 1.5 to the black dog, and 1.5 to the yellow dog. When it came to Urha's turn, I clapped my hands and said that's all. It's not that I'm petty. It's just that 3 aren't enough to split. I was about to head home happily when I suddenly felt something. I turned around and saw my neighbor Nuanuo standing at her living room door. She was wearing cute white pajamas, with little bare ears on the hood, watching me from afar. Her eyes were misty. I hesitated, wondering how to explain, but she didn't ask anything. She walked over to the 3 dogs, gently squatted down, and patted their heads. I heard her softly say thank you. Her voice was full of relief after what happened. She's a smart girl. She didn't ask anything. She just quietly thanked us. Her eyes showed gratitude and a promise to take good care of the dogs. I really like this kind of silent understanding, even if I have no idea if she's just a regular person or something else, just being able to stop her world from falling apart. I felt like I held on to something important. When I got home, Mom was still at work. I grabbed a bowl of instant noodles, then realized those 3 sausages. I could have saved one for myself. I was just sitting, waiting for my noodles and going over everything that happened today. Yang Jia called me. He asked if I ran into Zhao Si today. I smiled and said, yeah, we actually ran into something unusual together and teamed up to take care of it. Yang Jia paused for a moment.
He said Zhao Si claimed he didn't do much.
And I handled most of it. Then he asked me if I have 3 enhanced animals with special powers around me. I quickly told him about how I let the dogs help and noticed it's getting easier for them to get stronger. Yang Jia listened for a while and finally asked if I knew that this is actually risky. They can get stronger so easily because they've absorbed enough similar materials and hit a mutation threshold. But if they fail to level up, they'll immediately mutate. And then we'll have a real mess on our hands. I went silent. Honestly, I'd already considered that possibility. Back then, I was right outside the coffee shop. And if something went wrong, maybe it's because I was right outside the cafe. If something felt off, I could leave right away. Zhao Si was nearby too. If anything happened, he could help. And I really trust these 3 dogs. It's not just luck for me. I just believe in my gut feeling. I smiled into the phone and said, got it. I won't do anything so risky again. Yang Jia actually started talking softer. She said she was just reminding me. The result turned out pretty good. We stick together for support. But we usually don't meddle in each other's choices. I just thought you needed more time to grow before you be this independent. Didn't expect you to have your own mind all along. I could only smile and say, not really. I could feel Yang Jia being extra patient with me, even giving advice. She tries not to upset me. With Tang Tang and Zhao Si, he's like a leader. So why is he so accommodating to me? Is it because of our history back in school? Yang Jia just smiled and changed the subject. She said she called, mainly to remind me of something else. Zhao Si mentioned that neighbor girl next door was close to turning into an aberrant creature. Even though you stopped it this time, still be extra careful. If she acts weird again, you'd better deal with it fast or let us know. I was startled. I asked if she could still change. Yang Jia said normally, it's unlikely. But if something does go wrong again, it means her mutation was probably done on purpose by some crazies. I was about to ask who. Yang Jia quietly said, just a bunch of stubborn idiots. They think they know the world's truth. Hearing there are people breeding aberrant creatures. I couldn't believe it. I've seen plenty of those things. They all have strange powers. But what really gets me is they're all full of pain and despair. And someone actually breeds them on purpose. My voice trembled. I asked, why would they do that? Yang Jia said, we're not the only ones chasing pain essence. It hit me right away, just as I realized how important that stuff was. I'm hearing about this crazy thing. I asked, isn't this strictly banned in the city? Why does the city will tolerate them? Yang Jia said the city's will is too huge. Sometimes it's slow to respond. We only work for the city will. No need to get tangled up with them. Besides, a lot of people think the more aberrants those people breed, the easier we earn points. I fell silent. A deep disgust rose in me. How can anyone put up with this? Yang Jia saw I was stressed and talked softer, telling me not to worry. I'm not ready to deal with that crowd yet. The little neighbor's problem is probably not connected to them. She also reminded me that the card thing is probably not related either. She also reminded me, if I ever hear anything about shepherds, stay far away if I can. I quietly remembered the name shepherds. They're the ones feeding off pain. All I felt was overwhelming disgust. Yang Jia switched the topic. She said what matters most now is getting stronger. My points are close to 600 now. It's time to choose a growth path. I got curious. I asked what kinds of path. Yang Jia replied, every outsider chooses their own enhancement route. Early on, you boost with random bits. Later, you need a core focus. If you build around strength, you're a fighter. If you focus on stealth, you're a hunter. If you focus on heightened senses, you're an observer. Those three are the big mainstream paths now. My points are enough now, so I can pick one. I quietly repeated those three paths, feeling a random surge inside me. Which one should I choose to keep myself safe? Across the city, Yang Jia hung up and let out a gentle sigh. She was standing on the tallest building. Below was the busy street and traffic. She pressed the cum device by her ear, then raised her hand, making a see-through door frame. She walked through the frame and landed light and silent. She barely bent her knees. She looked up at the raging, out-of-control building monster ahead. That thing had completely lost its old shape. It looked super dangerous. With no expression, Yang Jia raised her gun. The bullets, boosted by the doorframe, shot out packed with power. They ripped huge holes in the monster. The thing roared and smashed its claws at Yang Jia. She dodged, while talking into her earpiece. It's only been 2 weeks, and he's got 600 points already, and 3 companions with special powers. Was everything happening to him really just luck? A soft electronic voice answered in her ear. After analysis, it is just coincidence. When he solves things, he doesn't have amazing combat ability. He stays calm and finds the right way. He even offers some comfort to the unlucky ones. He calls himself a gentle person. Yang Jia was a bit surprised. She asked what Zhao Si thought of him. The voice replied, Zhao Si got scared by him. He didn't even dare mention the 100 points deduction. Yang Jia sighed helplessly. She raised her gun and made 3 layered door frames again. While shooting, she whispered, when I first got back, I thought I couldn't change anything. But now, maybe there's hope after all. I think over what Yang Jia said about change. Maybe there really is hope now. I carefully considered the 3 paths she mentioned. Fighters use a special factor to boost their body. I've already used the basic one. When I'm nervous, I can get a sudden burst of strength. Hunters are all about stealth. I immediately thought of Zhao Si, who's always slipping around.
He's probably a classic hunter.
Observers are all about precise judgment, noticing stuff others miss, seeing through hides, catching tiny clues. Living in the city, I've seen a lot of weird things, so that one really stood out to me. When you feel unsafe, you want power most. But too bad there's no collector route here. Oh right, collectors get their power from items and can mix it with other routes. Even though I've got 3 enhanced dogs, I can still go with a different route. I was thinking about which one to pick. Right now, I don't have much self-defense ability, so going with fighter sounds pretty good. Just then, I heard the TV in the living room. Someone on it said, being tough is useless. You need backing and connections out here. I was all wrapped up in power and felt like I was getting called out. I opened the door and went out. My mom was in the living room, eating seeds and watching an old movie. She was surprised to see me, asked if I'd eaten yet, offered to make something. I said I had eaten, and teased her about still watching these old flicks at her age. Mom laughed and said, "Everybody says I look like the male lead." I glanced at the TV. I thought, at most it's 99% similar. Back in my bedroom, that sentence kept spinning in my head. I used to be pretty interested in the dancer path. Suddenly I lost all interest. Can't rush such an important decision. Anyway, now that I have DJ factors boosting my body, plus 3 vicious dogs helping me, normal anomalies can't threaten me. My mind started drifting elsewhere again. The old record player and the butcher at the intersection. Could they also be upgraded into special items? Those dogs only cost 30 points. But after upgrading, they're so strong. A 50-point record player and a 100-point butcher must be even stronger. This amount of points is nothing for me now. The more I think, the more hyped I get. But then it feels unlikely. According to Tang Tang, finding even 1 special item is considered lucky. If I found 3 at once, then I must have been super unlucky, living next to these monsters for years. How miserable would that be? Suddenly it hit me. My true biggest advantage is actually this panic disorder that's haunted me for 4 years. Now I can handle it pretty well. The feeling of time freezing during panic helps me solve problems. It also cancels out the shock from anomalies. I used to totally avoid it. 4 years ago, I asked my parents for help. Their relationship fell apart. I used to totally avoid it. 4 years ago, I asked my parents for help. Their relationship fell apart. They never believed me. So I forced myself to get used to panic. Just tried to stay normal. Now it's actually my most valuable asset. I need to pick a path that can make the most of this ability. The next day, as usual, I took the subway to work at the docks. Right as I got there, the foreman and my coworkers all looked at me shocked. The foreman came over and asked if I was all right. What happened to your hand? I noticed the band-aid on my left hand and said it's nothing. The foreman asked again, "Did you hear about the accident where you delivered yesterday?" Old Zhang and old Li are both in the hospital. Supposedly someone planted a bomb. People got scared while defusing it. And a lot of folks got trampled. That's when I found out. Normal people have no clue about Despair Swamp. They just think it was some explosion. I just said I was lucky and left early, so I was fine. The foreman was relieved I was only there because of a last-minute shift change. If something happened, he'd be responsible. He seemed in a good mood, so he gave me an easy job watching the warehouse and keeping the log. Muttered about visiting our coworkers in the hospital. I sat at the warehouse entrance, with the fan blowing on me, crossed my legs, watching others do heavy work, kind of jealous. I did plan on toughening myself up, but getting paid for this is nice too. Right now, the most important thing is figuring out what I really want. I kept what Tang Tang said in mind. Getting stronger is just basic instinct, but you also have to think a lot to be safe. I started scribbling on the shipping sheet, listing out my reactions and strength stats, trying to work out what upgrade path fit me best. I know my current problem is my mind. Works way too fast, but my body just can't keep up. If I could get a little more control, my physical ability would improve a lot. I was thinking about that when a shadow blocked my view. Yellow Hair came up, grinning, wanting to swap tasks with me. said he'd do the log for me, and I should go lug stuff in the warehouse. I just looked up at him and flat out said no. His face dropped instantly.
He said he unloaded cargo for me till 10 last night.
So why couldn't I give him some respect? I frowned and asked, wasn't that your own choice? Yellow Hair was speechless. Usually I'm quiet, but I actually talked back. That set him off. He threw a fit and told me to watch my back. Said this wasn't over. I couldn't be bothered, so I just kept filling out the warehouse log, still thinking about how to control my body better. After I put Yellow Hair in his place, he was furious and went back to work. Soon I could hear people around quietly laughing at him, saying he usually only acts tough. Yellow Hair whipped his head around, but didn't see who said it. But the jeers kept coming. The more he stewed, the angrier he got. He announced in front of everyone he'd get me after work. The jeers never stopped.
He just kept getting angrier.
Again, he told everyone he'd get me after work. I made it through the shift, getting ready to head home, when a coworker rushed over telling me. Yellow Hair called up some street bikers to ambush me, told me to leave out the back. Don't get involved? I thought, kind of confused. I've worked hard at the docks, never caused any trouble, never made waves before. So why Yellow Hair pick on me? I really couldn't figure it out. I just called Tang Tang, asked if I could get into fights with locals. Tang Tang got super excited when he heard, kept asking when and where, and what he should wear. I quickly explained. I wasn't calling him to start a brawl, just wanted to check the rules. As soon as he learned he wasn't involved, he lost all interest, said lazily, just don't overdo it. If you actually hurt someone, there'll be consequences. After hanging up, I felt totally relieved. This was actually the perfect chance to test my skills. I changed and waited by the warehouse entrance. When Yellow Hair stormed up, I flashed him a friendly smile. Out on the street by the docks, there were 7 or 8 huge motorcycles parked. Guys in leather jackets leaned on their bikes, the headlights glaring. Everyone walking or driving by gave them a wide berth. Yellow Hair excitedly ran over, started bowing and scraping to the main guy, nodding and fawning. The leader looked annoyed and waved him aside. Yellow Hair instantly puffed out his chest, feeling very proud. I walked out of the docks with my bag. Yellow Hair immediately pointed at me and yelled. The bikers all started sneering. Someone flashed their headlights. Someone honked their horn. And the boss crooked his finger at me. My heart was racing. I used to be a good kid. Stayed home 4 years and never went out. Never seen this kind of scene. But I still walked toward them calmly. Told myself over and over, it's all just for the experience, nothing to be ashamed of. Right as the leader opened his mouth to threaten me, I just swung and slapped him. He was totally stunned. Took him a while to react. Everything went dead quiet for a second. 2 or 3 seconds later, the whole gang started shouting. I shook out my numb hand and took a couple steps back to get momentum. Then kicked the leader right off his bike. By now my brain was moving at lightning speed. These guys all looked like they were moving in slow motion. I could dodge every attack in advance and find holes to counter. Knocked a bunch of them down in no time. Spent a whole day and night stressing about my route. Finally found the answer. What I lack is info gathering skills. The fight ended in under 3 minutes. Those guys were sprawled everywhere, groaning. I picked up my backpack, ready to catch the subway. Walked a few steps. Then I suddenly turned back and sincerely thanked them. They were all stunned, ready to catch the subway. Walked a few steps. Then I turned back and genuinely thanked them. They were all dumbfounded. The leader got so mad he smacked the yellow-haired guy. He slapped him and cursed, saying he'd brought in a lunatic. In the nearby shadows, a man with red eyes was watching me. A voice from his headset came through, told him not to leave any traces. Yang's family can't find out. They even said the Yangs are nicknamed Black Hands. Only 3 years since they joined Dante's group, one of the fastest rising newcomers. Their mentor was a big shot in Blackgate City. Now they're back to rebuild the Blackgate City gang. Told Red Eyes he has to take me out. Red Eyes let out a low laugh. Said taking care of someone like me is a piece of cake. After a whole day and night of thinking hard, and another sudden brawl, I finally found the path that suits me. It's the path of ultra-precise insight. That fight didn't go great for me. I even took some losses, but it pointed out my biggest weakness. I'm bad at collecting info with my senses. I've never known if my mental overload state is a curse or a power. But when danger comes, it really helps me out. Even if I can think more than others, in the same amount of time, I still need enough info to back it up. Like in this fight, I can dodge and counter visible attacks. But I can't stop a sneak attack I can't see. Even if I go the fighter route, all I get is more destructive power. That's just self-defense. In this wild world, protecting myself matters most. I snuck back home, saw Mom wasn't home yet from work, and finally relaxed. I know in a world full of monsters, I don't even need to do all this. But Mom really throws herself into her family role. If she found out, she'd freak out for sure. I don't want to face that. After handling all that, I took a deep breath, pulled out the dark red card and set it on the old computer. The PC started buzzing right away. I'm already used to the weird vibe in my room. Just opened my eyes wide and stared. The exchange page popped up on the screen. Dark red text kept flashing. When I first got the card, my mind was blown that this city is actually alive. Missed a lot of details. Now I've realized. The city's will is seriously mysterious. Every outsider's deal is bound by the card. But using it is super easy. Doesn't matter what device it is. Just put the card near the data hub. And the exchange page shows extreme perception. 20 points per unit. Lets you see malice hiding behind a smile. See through any disguise. I'm curious. This heightened perception costs 20 points per unit. It can see malice behind a smile. It sees through all disguises. I'm curious why the description is a bit different from last time. But I didn't think much about it. I hesitated for a minute. Then I made up my mind and clicked buy. A ding sound popped up. Points deducted. My original 583 points dropped to 523, with my remaining points. I was planning to get another item that I'd wanted for a long time. After saving up to 600 points again, I'd complete my veteran enhancement stage. After the purchase went through, I held my breath and waited to see how the item would be delivered. Last time I bought something, it was waiting in my bedroom when I got home. But this time I wanted to see it happen. But right then, a heavy knocking sounded at the gate outside. The night was dead quiet. The knocking kept getting louder, almost a little violent. But there wasn't a single other sound around. Even the 3 dogs at the neighbor's place stayed silent. Just my computer fan whirring away. I saw the light bulb above me shaking. I took a deep breath, walked to the gate, and yanked the door open. No one in the alley outside. Just the neighbor's 3 hounds, all standing upright, staring into the darkness of the alley. I stared for a while, but saw nothing. But I vaguely felt that something in the dark was crawling slowly away. I lowered my head and saw an old videotape by my feet. The label read number 0. Query, retained footage. The last enhancement I got came as a vial of medicine. But this one's a videotape. It felt strange to me. I quickly picked it up, went back to the bedroom. A reminder popped up on my computer screen, saying the footage has special effects. Watch with caution. You can only view it 3 times after purchase. It will self-destruct after the 3rd view. I didn't get how watching a tape would enhance me, but I still dug out my multi-purpose player, hooked it up to the computer, locked the bedroom door, and slid the tape
Inside.
The machine rattled for a while. Soon, video popped up on my computer screen. It looked like a hospital. The camera was pointed at a woman in her 30s, graceful and thin, wearing a hospital gown. Really stood out. But she seemed nervous and uneasy, kept wringing her hands. She'd look up but never at the camera, only at the interviewer beside it. A middle-aged man's gentle voice. He asked how she'd been lately. Asked if she still had hallucinations. If she ever felt people around her wanted to hurt her. The woman hesitated for a long time, then quietly said she didn't anymore. Her mother wouldn't hurt her, and neither would anyone else. The interviewer asked, "How about getting discharged?" The woman started trembling hard, kept shaking her head, curled up in the chair. The interviewer patiently persuaded her, said she's recovered. No, she trembled even harder, kept shaking her head, curled up on the chair. The interviewer patiently talked to her, saying when she first came she insisted everyone was out to get her. But those were just hallucinations. If she cooperated, she'd soon get her life back. She shook her head desperately, crying and begging not to leave, saying she wanted to stay. He asked her why. She suddenly yelled, "This world isn't normal anymore. There's a massive monster devouring our world." Her voice echoed all through my bedroom, lingering on. I finished the tape as a cop, saying nothing the whole time. In my head, I kept seeing that woman, so fragile and terrified. Her anxiety, her doubts and fears about the world, even her words, all reminded me of how I felt when I first woke up. I thought of how lost I'd been facing all that malice before. The panic when I saw those strange creatures in the subway station, when the whole city changed right in front of me. The shock and sheer helplessness, that strong sense of similarity, even total identification, made me completely zone out for a moment, like I was the woman in the tape. What I just saw was really the doctor questioning me. That colossal, unreal feeling completely overwhelmed me. I stared at the screen, silent for a long time. My mind was flooded with questions. That woman in the video, was she once a stranger here too? Did she not know she was in another world? So she thought everything was a hallucination. Suddenly, a wave of panic washed over me. I felt dizzy, like my whole world was starting to distort. I took a few deep breaths and decided to keep watching. Since I'd started, no point stopping now. Besides, curiosity was eating at me. I wanted to watch more. I pressed play again. The tape started over from the beginning, still focused on that woman, still the same questions as before. But the footage seemed rougher somehow. When her sobbing suddenly started, that was the end of round 2. It was already fully dark outside. I hadn't turned on my bedroom light, just the monitor glowing blue, lighting up my pale face. A bit numb, I hit play one more time. The woman was still scared and uneasy, just like before. But the video looked more degraded this time. And maybe it was just me, but she seemed more exhausted. Still, I watched closely, not missing a detail. The same conversation, playing out in the same scene. Seeing the woman trembling. Her fear, her efforts to hide it, the same dialogue. In the same setting, watching her shiver. Her fear, her effort to hide it. It was like her feelings infected me. They burned into my eyes, then into my brain. And the more I watched the tape 3 times in a row, the deeper that feeling got. Until at the very end, as the worn-out woman was pressed for answers, she suddenly jerked her head up. In that moment, I was creeping out inside. I stared at the screen, forced myself to hold on, controlling my gaze, not looking away. This time, the woman stared hard at the camera. Her face, not showing fear or unease anymore, just pure despair. Our city has already been eaten by a huge monster. Her eyes flew wide open. I was overwhelmed with shock. My mind went blank. This woman was talking straight to me. In this footage, which I don't even know when it was recorded, this woman is actually talking to me. But when I watched it the first 2 times, the footage wasn't like this. Both times were different. So why did something so strange happen the 3rd time I played it? Such a weird, unexplainable scene. Totally incomprehensible and bizarre. It made my scalp tingle. I was forcing my eyes wide open, trying to see more of what's going on, when suddenly the screen started flickering. Amid the chaotic static, the image, already blurry, suddenly turned completely blank. The woman staring dead at the camera disappeared. I quickly pressed play again. Nothing happened. I took the tape out, checked it closely, and saw that the entire content had been wiped clean. Now it was a completely blank, useless tape. I set the tape down, took a deep breath, and stood up slowly, with the tape now blank. I couldn't help but start to doubt if what I just saw was even real. I couldn't help but close my eyes. In my mind, that scene of the woman being questioned still lingered crystal clear.
Honestly.
My memory of the tape is already fading. Unclear, but that woman's anxiety remained sharp in my mind. It's like some quality was passed on to me just by watching the tape. After a while, I opened my eyes. Looking around my pitch-black bedroom, I actually felt a little creeped out. The bed, desk, the walls, even the calendar, all seemed to have a faint life of their own. Breathing slow and heavy, the world just looked sharper in my eyes. I could feel every inch of the air around me, filled with this strong, uneasy vibe. I could sense in the neighbor's yard. Even every inch of air around me was full of an intense, restless feeling. I could sense in the neighbor's yard those three big hunting dogs sleeping together, their bodies radiating a real sense of danger. But strangely enough, right now, I could actually feel this danger also gave me a sense of safety. I could feel from the second floor window across the street an old record player, still playing at a frequency too low to hear. That sad, haunting music. I sensed in the butcher shop down the street. The butcher was holding a doll, crying quietly. Farther away, the whole city was lost in an unnatural darkness. And in this deep, endless night, as my senses spread out, it felt like something was waking up, slowly poking out of the shadows, getting closer to the edge of my senses. I suddenly snapped awake, took a step back, and started gasping for air when I was just about to see what was really hiding in the darkness. Maybe my power reached its limit, or maybe some deep-rooted fear forced me to wake up fast. So, is this what extreme perception feels like? Panicking, I broke out in a cold sweat, thinking a mile a minute, by watching the tape. I caught that quality from the woman in the footage. Is it that I can see the world clearer now? That my senses went up a level? More vivid and detailed? Or am I just overly anxious? Is this really just normal enhancement? I don't know. Maybe this is a side effect from the enhancement, just like when I used the power factor. For a while, I kept getting all sorts of wild urges inside, wanting to do something crazy.
Now,
Am I also getting side effects from this extreme perception? But I couldn't convince myself. All I could think of was the woman staring at the camera, her face full of fear, and her last words. Our city has already been swallowed by a giant monster. The origin is starting to spread. None of us can escape. Countless warped and chaotic thoughts flooded my mind. It was like I was back 4 years ago. Right, when the headaches first started, I couldn't help but press hard on my head, just wanting to shake off those scary thoughts. And outside my bedroom, the world was dead silent. The neighbor's 3 dogs were standing on their back legs, front paws on the fence, looking at me worried. The bedroom with the lights on, white curtain fluttering in the wind on the slanted second floor. The old record player behind the curtain sounded harsh and hoarse, spreading pain and sadness through the air, mixing with the dark night. It almost had a weird calming effect. Little by little, it slowly eased my tension and nerves. I slowly looked up, facing the direction of the record player. It always felt oppressive before, but now it actually sounded pleasant. Earlier, from the tape's influence, I've been on edge the whole time, feeling lost and anxious. But somehow, that sound comforted me. Suddenly, lines of red text popped up on my computer screen behind me. It was the trade info for that old record player. Only 50 points to get it. Its effect is to play music that'll mess with your opponents. At that time, I already had the fountain of pain and the extreme perception power. I finally got the piece I wanted. I was already planning to buy this record player. 50 points wasn't much anyway, so I just went for it. But right as I decided, the screen popped up saying purchase successful. Didn't even need to hit confirm. The music on the second floor across the street stopped immediately. Then rock music started blasting all of a sudden. I was completely stunned. Who plays something so energetic in the middle of the night? Any creeped out feeling I had disappeared instantly. Most of the neighbors turned on their lights. Everyone shouting and swearing. Some even threw things at the second floor windows. I went stone-faced right away. This record player is even more unreliable than the 3 dogs? Guess its only purpose is to annoy people, huh? Good thing it's not in my apartment, so it's not my window getting yelled at or broken. I kept repeating off over and over in my head. Before the music finally stopped, I turned to my computer and saw the record player is now mine. No need to carry it around. When needed, it'll randomly play music to help me beat my opponents. At first I wondered how to use it, then realized it's my very own theme music. What guy can say no to his own BGM? Scrolling down. Enhancing it costs 500 points. 5 times more than upgrading the 3 dogs. I was honestly shocked. Spent 5 times the points just for some extra playback features. So I probably got ripped off this time. I blew 110 points in just one night, counting what I spent before. I've already tossed over 200 points into this. Now I only have a bit over 400 left. Gotta save up to 600. so I can do the second upgrade on the seer route. That butcher at the meat shop. Forget it for now. Let's see if he gets caught first. If that doesn't work, I'll just drop a few hundred to get a chainsaw. Who knows, maybe it works just as well. I slept super deep last night. That subtle music really helped me sleep. Next day, on my way to the docks for work, I kept feeling like someone was watching me. Kept looking back, but didn't see anyone suspicious. When I got to the subway station, the feeling just got stronger. I spun around fast and saw a little girl staring at me. When she saw me turn, she quickly blushed and looked down. Oh, turns out she's just checking out my looks. Sometimes it's kinda tough for me. Being too handsome, people keep staring. I just want to be low-key, that's all. All the way there, I'm trying to get used to these intense senses. I know I gotta learn to control it, or I just keep feeling anxious. Probably because I just upgraded. Guess I'll get used to it soon. Got to the usual docks. Finally stopped feeling stared at. But my coworkers all looked at me kind of odd, acting all nervous, secretly glancing at me now and then. When I caught them, they smiled awkwardly. I knew it was 'cause of my fight with Blondie yesterday. They're a bit scared of me. I didn't really care. Was just gonna change and get to work. But the foreman came up to me looking serious. He asked if I fought with Blondie yesterday. I nodded, said he brought his guys to block me. We clashed. The foreman tried to talk me down for a while, frowning. Finally just patted my shoulder, worried, and said, "Next time talk to him first. Don't argue with those guys." He even told me to save up and go back to school. Find a steady job. The docks aren't a good long-term fit for me. Looking at the serious foreman, I felt kinda touched. Didn't expect him to look so tough and be so thoughtful. I smiled and said, okay, then when to change. I'm quick at changing. Done in 2 minutes. Came out and saw the foreman, still at the door, checking the dispatch sheet. Just walked past him. He suddenly turned around, looked really grim, asked me again if I fought Blondie yesterday. I was stunned right then. Didn't he just ask this a moment ago? I didn't answer. He suddenly raised his voice and pressed me with the same question. The whole thing just felt weirder, but I slowly nodded. He suddenly gave a cold laugh, said it's dock rules. Anyone who fights gets fired. I was totally shocked. It's only been a few moments. Why's the foreman acting like a different person? I even started wondering if my senses were just making stuff up. I didn't say anything, just stared at him quietly, trying to figure out what's going on. He saw I wasn't talking, got even angrier. Blondie is his buddy, so hitting Blondie is disrespecting him. Then he threatened to teach me a lesson. Show me who's really in charge here. I took a step back, looking at him on guard, and he just got angrier, kept moving closer to me. Eyes super red, looked scary. The other workers saw something was off and came over. But when they got near, their eyes turned red too. They all started to jeer, calling me a psycho, and saying I should get kicked out. They really want to kick me out. Some people said I stole their jobs, just because I look good. Why are more and more people gathering around me? Their faces all have the same weird look. They're all staring at me intensely. Their faces are full of malice. A sharp, strange smell fills the air. I know something's definitely wrong. I pull out my phone and call the Yang family. I called several times, but no one answered. Then I called Tang Tang. No one answered either. My alarm bells are ringing in my head. I felt like someone was watching me when I left this morning. I thought it was just a side effect of my senses. Now I realize that wasn't my imagination. There must be something around here. It's affecting my coworkers' minds, making them even more hostile. All of their anger is aimed at me. Suddenly, I remembered yesterday when Huang Mao started trouble. He had the same weird hatred too. Seems like things started going wrong yesterday. But right now, I can't find the source. The people around me are getting more agitated, and they're saying nastier things. I'm starting to get pissed off too. But instead, I relax. I laugh because I've been through this before. I just need to deal with them. It's not like something really terrible will happen. At the same time, on the other side of the city, Tang Tang called the Yang family. She said Brother Zhao just called me. But when I picked up, there was no sound. The Yang family said they got a call too. When they picked up, there was only arguing. They tried calling back, but nobody answered. Seems like something happened. They've already told Zhao Si who's nearest to go over. They're heading out right away too. Turns out, It's just like when I first faced the malice of the city. It's the same vibe. When the locals' hostility peaked, they finally showed their true colors. I don't know why, even with over 400 points, I'm still running into stuff like this. But at least I've handled this kind of thing before. My coworkers are closing in on me. My heightened senses make me stronger. I can really feel the waves of hate, layer after layer, crashing down on me. Every hair on my body is standing up. Screw it. I strike first. I've got a fruit knife in my hand, held in reverse, not backing down at all, staring right at the people in front of me. I used up all 16 bullets dealing with the Despair Swamp incident. Tenkang hasn't given me any new ones yet. So a knife is all I've got. This is the first fruit knife I bought. After I got my power up, bought it on the street. The monsters around me are startled by this. They freeze in surprise. Their charge slows just a bit. I tilt my head and look at them, expressionless, totally at ease. These monsters know these people are weird and full of hate, just like Jiang Cheng from that class reunion. I killed one like this easily right after I woke up, and now I'm even stronger. The key is, I feel no pressure now. These monsters can be killed, just like before. Jiang Cheng bounced back pretty quick. Jiang Cheng turned back to normal fast too. He was even nicer to people afterwards. I figured out the pattern a long time ago, so I grip the fruit knife tighter and stab without hesitation. My sudden charge freaks the monsters out. Go! Kill him! I sneer as my mind races and my senses hit max. I have perfect control over my body, even with those red claws coming at me. I dodge them easily. With the strength boost, my fruit knife almost feels razor sharp. Every swing, claws are torn apart. The monsters start panicking and back off. But then I notice something strange. These coworkers with the claws out are rushing me with furious eyes. There's a lot of them, and they're moving fast. And they're way stronger than Jiang Cheng was. But their claws are weaving big nets, almost like they're trying to trap me. A weird thought flashes through my mind. Maybe they're not actually trying to kill me. They just want to catch me. I scoff to myself. No more holding back. When you're surrounded like this, individual strength is limited, just like ancient generals on the battlefield. Even the bravest can't break through when surrounded. But I've got enhanced senses. I analyzed my strengths carefully before. The skill that works best with Mind Burst is extreme sensory perception.
Now,
I can immediately feel the benefits. Even with so many monsters around me, I can sense every bit of malice they aim my way. I can feel every claw coming at me. Plus, thanks to my mental speed and analysis, and my boosted strength, I'm like a fish in water among these monsters, weaving in and out easily, moving around like a ghost. At this moment, my fruit knife almost feels supernaturally sharp. This just proves my theory. The observer path is really the best enhancement for me. More and more monsters are swarming. Right now, the top priority is to find the source of all this hatred aimed at me. That's the real key. But with all the malice swirling around, my senses are total chaos. How am I supposed to spot the dog hiding among this herd of sheep? I'm getting more frustrated and impatient, losing my patience bit by bit. And just then, a raspy low song starts playing by my ear. I get goosebumps instantly. No idea where the music's coming from. But then I realize, it's my phone. The phone in my pocket randomly starts playing this song. Then I hear the same song again. And right after that, every monster's phone around me starts playing too. The music gets louder and louder. Soon it's washing over the whole place. I'm stunned. And suddenly think of that old record player I bought yesterday. Turns out it can connect to phones nearby on its own. As the audio source, who knew something that old could do this? I'm roasting it in my head. Then a shiver runs down my body. I sense something odd. When the music kicks in, the monsters around me are all affected. Their malice gets scattered. But within that sea of hate, one stream suddenly stands out, like the tide rolling out, revealing a hidden rock underneath. It's right there. I quickly look toward the office building nearby. That's the dispatch center on the dock. Only about 50 meters from Warehouse 1. Just 4 stories tall, my eyes scan the building and lock onto someone on the 3rd floor, a guy in a black suit. He's standing by the 3rd floor window, drinking yogurt from a bottle. I see his bright red eyes, full of malice and cruelty, and a cat-and-mouse look. So it really is him. That's the stare that's been on me since this morning. The source of those eyes watching me the whole time.
He was the one hiding among the workers, eyeing me up before.
Even that weird hatred from Blondie yesterday involved him. That red-eyed guy had a part in it too. He's the one trying to hurt me. I grit my teeth. In seconds, I slipped past the crowd of claws, raced right up to the office building, jumped up high, landed against the wall, just pushed off and climbed to the third-floor window. The red-eyed man saw me coming. He showed a weird, excited grin. Just as I was about to get through the window, he quietly stepped back and vanished from sight. I climbed through the window right after, gripping my fruit knife tight, ready to stab forward. Then I suddenly froze. The office was empty. No one in sight. Just a second ago, that red-eyed guy was at the window. But when I barged in, he was just gone. I held my breath, kept the fruit knife tight in my hand. Didn't move an inch. I stayed alert. The danger didn't go away. I knew he was still here. You're the one after me, I asked in a low voice. At the same time, I focused all my senses, scanning every inch of the office fast, looking for anything suspicious. But to my shock, I found nothing. The office door was still closed. No place big enough to hide anyone. Still closed, nowhere to hide. That red-eyed guy should still be in here. But for some reason, I just can't see him. I even stopped breathing. Everything went weirdly quiet. Then, suddenly, excited laughter came from above. Hey, newbie. I jerked my head up. There was a skinny figure hiding on the ceiling. Didn't even give me time to react. Those red eyes curved into a grin, his face full of wild excitement. Both his hands dropped down, holding a pistol, the barrel aimed right at me. You found me and figured me out. Your potential is solid, but what's the use, really? It just means I gotta work a little harder. All I have to do is finish you off myself. The bullet left the barrel from less than 20 centimeters away. The red eyes looked insanely satisfied. He had already planned it out. Shoot, land coolly, and teach this newbie a lesson. But right after, he suddenly froze. I didn't get hurt like he thought. Instead, I backed away fast. It was like I saw it coming, dodged with smooth movements. Didn't even look scared or shocked, and instantly stabbed at him with precision, calmly thinking, high potential, huh? You're not the first to say that. The red-eyed man was startled by my reaction. He'd used his special power to kill plenty of targets before, even some veterans with second enhancements. But I'm just a rookie. Not only dodged a bullet, but stayed ice cold and struck back lightning fast. Fruit knife right in his face in a split second. The red-eyed guy cursed inside. He yanked his body back sharply. Moved so fast my eyes couldn't follow. In a blink, he disappeared, but my senses caught it. He crawled into the shadows at the edge of the ceiling. No time to turn around. I grabbed a pen holder from the desk and threw it at the corner. The pen holder shattered, but there was nothing in that corner. And he vanished just like that. I was shocked, staring up at the empty ceiling. I could have sworn he climbed up there, but couldn't see him anywhere. Impressive. No wonder the Youngs picked you. That sharp, annoying voice came out again. But you aren't strong enough yet. I actually overestimated you. You haven't even started your second enhancement. That voice came from all directions. No way to tell where he was. Just made me lose focus. Right then, I got goosebumps. Felt a threat coming from my left. Dodged super quick. Saw a flash of those red eyes out the corner of mine. Full of excitement and greed. You aren't even qualified to fight me. Greedy. You're not even worth fighting. My nerves went on high alert. Dodged right in a flash. Still a little too slow. Pain didn't even have time to set in. Dodged the deadly spot. And stabbed back with the fruit knife right away. The move was so clean, it looked rehearsed. But it still hit only air. Those red eyes vanished from sight again. Gotta say, your reflexes are solid. That annoying voice rang out again. Just too bad you barely have any enhancements. Got 100 points? Or just a sad little 3,040? I've got 1,000 points, you know? You really think you can win? I kept a straight face, did my best to ignore his taunts. Quickly sorted things out in my head. This guy must be who the Youngs talked about. One of the 3 paths. The hunter path. His first enhancement was stealth instinct. He's great at hiding. After the 600-point second enhancement, he's not just stealthy. He awakens hunting skills too.
He said he's got 1,000 points now.
So he's been through second enhancement. He might even have other support boosts. I've only got 2 basic elements. Just totaled 120 points. How do I fight him? Turns out the red-eyed guy hiding in the dark was also freaking out. He was shocked when I dodged his first attack. He gave up on the gun for his second try, switched to his best weapon, a knife, and still missed my vitals. And I always counter right away. He couldn't get how someone with only basic power could keep this calm and sharp. Seeing me holding the fruit knife, quietly standing there in the office.
He was actually too nervous to make a move.
Kept talking smack. But now he was on edge. We'd only traded blows twice. But both sides were already super wary. The guy's power is just freaky. If he's out of sight, he just vanishes. And when he shows up, it's always a kill shot. I've dodged a bunch of attacks, just using fast thinking and sharp senses. Always barely made it out. Almost got killed each time. My nerves have been stretched forever. My legs feel kind of weak. Even my head is buzzing.
If this keeps up, he'll kill me.
I can't even run. Running just gives him a shot. Can't call those special dogs just yet. The time's not right. Even with their enhancements, they can't take bullets. I quickly sorted through any tricks I could use. Suddenly, I remembered my special skill. I figured might as well try playing some background music in this desperate moment. I thought, why not play some BGM when things get desperate? A new idea popped into my head. Soothing music suddenly filled the quiet room. The playlist on the computer at my desk started on its own. Haunting, airy singing instantly filled the whole space. Both me and the guy hiding in the dark jumped in shock. My senses were sharp already. I noticed something off right away. I dashed to the little bottle by the desk, gripped the fruit knife, and stabbed straight into the bottle. The bottle shattered with a crash. A red-eyed man leaped out from inside. Looking stunned, he asked how I found him even here. We stared at each other from opposite sides of the office. Truth is, we were both freaking out. He couldn't figure me out. How could a newbie corner him with nowhere to hide? I wasn't sure either. How many weird abilities did he still have up his sleeve? The eerie singing kept going. I made the first move. I gripped the fruit knife and rushed at him. He was used to sneaking around and ambushing. He's not good at fighting head-on. He was about to slip away and hide again. But I watched his every move closely. Plus, the music was driving him nuts. There was no way he could stay hidden perfectly. He tried several spots but failed to hide. Instead, I forced him into a corner. Panicked, he raised his hand and fired at me. I used my mind explosion ability. I could see his every move, predicted his shot ahead of time, dodged to the side. Before I could react, he suddenly grabbed me and threw me hard. Then he lifted the heavy mahogany cabinet and hurled it at me. I quickly dodged out of the way.
He got pumped, clenched his fists, and lunged at me.
Sighed I was just a newbie. Besides his stealth skill, he also used a mid-level gene enhancement shot. Earlier, I'd been frustrated by his stealth abilities. Finally, I solved his sneak attacks. But I didn't expect forcing him to show himself would actually put me at a disadvantage. When his freakish strength put me in danger, I realized the real problem. Early stage enhancements for different paths aren't set in stone. For example, right now, I have both strength factors and extreme senses. Same for this red-eyed guy.
He completed a second upgrade along the hunter path.
And also used strength factors once. Second enhancement. Normally needs 3 units of advanced strength factor to complete the veteran level dancer path. Clearly, he only used 1 unit, so he just has 1/3 of a real dancer's strength. But even so, he's way stronger than a rookie like me. I don't even know what kind of power a full dancer has. His voice was hoarse.
He charged at me with big strides.
His steps were so heavy. The floor cracked like a spider web. By comparison, my skinny self looked like a trembling web-like cracks. By contrast, my weak self is like a trembling lamb. I didn't notice when the office speaker changed songs. A sultry male voice sings with a hint of schadenfreude. I curse quietly, wondering which side this song is on. But my face is tense, watching those red eyes charge at me like a monster's remains. I spring off my feet, landing on top of the cabinet, barely dodging his swinging punch. The cabinet next to me gets smashed to pieces by him. Papers fly everywhere. This red-eyed guy has totally lost it. He gave up using his usual hunter skills.
He's attacking with just 1/3 of his enhanced strength.
This kind of brute force is exactly what I can't handle right now. No matter how much I think, I still can't solve hard math problems. No matter how sharp my senses are, I can't face a direct smash. If he really gets to me, I'm done for. Thinking fast, I watch him smash the cabinet and leap up, twisting midair, crashing down toward me. The power is terrifying, but he's clearly lost his cool. He's only got eyes for me. No more caution like before. Suddenly, I realize it's time. I take a deep breath, silently call for the fountain of pain. Earlier, I got power enhancements and boosted my super senses, plus help from that old record player. But my biggest trump card is the fountain of pain. Before, when the mutation hit, I wanted to summon them to fight, but I held back because I know someone is always pulling strings behind the weird stuff. Only finding and taking them out is the key, but I'm still a newbie. Not many cards up my sleeve. Saving my trumps for the right time matters most. I'm not sure if he knows I have 3 fierce dogs on my side. He probably doesn't. If I call them out too soon, he might scatter them. Better to hit him just when it counts. Red Eyes punches down hard at me, loving the thrill of dominating head-on. For a hunter, this is rare. No need to hide and wait. Just come out and finish things face to face. Feels worth it, even if the Yang family finds out later. Beating up locals is boring now. Only fighting outsiders gives him a real rush.
He throws that punch at me, as if I forgot to dodge.
Sure, he'll win. But suddenly, vicious dog barks erupt behind him.
He's shocked.
Turns to look, and sees a huge wild dog leap on him like lightning. The pain makes him shudder. It's not just a physical hit. The pain makes him shudder. It's not just his body hurting. The moment the dog bit him, a flood of bad memories fill his head.
His mind is chaotic.
Like when he first woke up, saw a mutated creature and collapsed in terror. Or the sleepless night discovering the city's secrets. Or the awkwardness of being rejected. These painful memories freeze him up. Before he can react, pain hits his right leg again. Another blood-eyed dog bites down hard. This one's especially sneaky. He never saw it coming. 2 surprise attacks scramble his thoughts completely. He nearly forgets where he is or what he's doing. His body only knows to struggle wildly. He then hears a brutal wolf howl. He tries to fight the memories, opens his eyes, and sees the 3rd fierce dog charging straight for him. His screams of agony echo out. Even I can barely stand the noise. A 1,000-point veteran can even scream that loud? I shake out my arm, numb by the punch wind. Quickly jump up, grip my fruit knife tight.
His mind is a total mess now.
He starts struggling less and less. Even the strongest body is just a puppet if you can't focus. I don't waste a second. I grip my knife and walk toward Red Eyes. Now I slow my movements on purpose. Need to watch carefully. What if this 1,000-point pro is still holding back and tries a last-second counter? I move real slow, even avoid the papers on the floor. Seeing him really pinned down, I'm honestly relieved. As I get close to Red Eyes, he forces his head up to look at me, face full of fear. Even with a foggy mind, he still shouts with everything he has. We're the same. We're all outsiders trapped in this world. Let me go. I pause for a second, whisper, but you just tried to kill me. Red Eyes wants to speak, but I grip my fruit knife and stab down hard. Meanwhile, outside the window, Jiaxi hangs upside down. His earbuds keep playing messages from Yangjia and Tangtong.
He gulps after a long time.
I was here half a minute ago. Yangjia's voice is clearly anxious. Asks, how is he? What's going on now? Just mentioning me makes Jiaxi even more nervous. He croaks, he's fine. As soon as I came over, he saw me listening to rock music, slicing up the guy with my knife, nice and neat, staring at the silent, motionless body on the floor. Finally seeing that red-eyed freak shut his eyes, all neat, motionless on the floor. That monster finally quieted down. I finally let out a long breath, spent the whole time making sure he was really dead. Couldn't relax for a second. Veterans like this are unpredictable. Even if you win, it's still nerve-wracking. I haven't even entered Phase 2 power-ups yet. I almost lost just relying on my boosted senses and the record player. And that old record player Its help almost wasn't enough against him. Thinking back, I break out in a cold sweat. I'm really just a rookie. How did I run into someone this strong? And so hostile to me. I need to find Yang Jia and the others and figure this out. As I turn, I see Zhao Si by the window. I'm about to say hi. But Zhao Si shivers when he sees me, almost falls out the window, climbs in, and bows to me respectfully. Calls out, "Brother Zhao." I'm completely confused. I'm just a newbie. Why is he so polite to me? I point at the monster by the wall, saying I was attacked. Scared me half to death. Zhao Si subtly takes a step back, voice shaking. Still tries to say, "I saw everything. You were really scared." Steals a glance at the monster by the wall. Quickly swears he won't tell anyone. Absolutely keeps his mouth shut. I'm even more confused. Zhao Si's supposed to be a vet. Why is he acting so weird? And he doesn't even try to comfort me. Just as we were staring at each other, the sound of an engine suddenly came from outside the window. Zhao Si instantly let out a breath. He rushed to the window and waved like crazy. He was almost crying with joy. He shouted, "Awesome. You guys are finally here." I was so scared. I was in shock. How did he say exactly what I wanted to say? Next second, Tang Tang jumped right through the window. He just saw the weirdo by the wall. His eyes widened in surprise. As soon as he landed, he greeted me politely. "Brother Zhao, you're really okay?" I was full of questions. Why is Tang Tang acting weird too? Right then, Yang Jia walked in from the door in a white trench coat. He glanced at the weirdo and then at me. His face looked a bit awkward too. I had so many questions. I was just about to ask. But Yang Jia spoke first, telling us to talk after we get back. He told Zhao Si to stay and handle things, and took me outside. Zhao Si actually looked relieved to stay. I was confused. He was so scared before, but now he wasn't. After we went downstairs, I got into Yang Jia's white car. Half my body was still messy. Tang Tang's motorcycle was too flashy. You could see all the chaos at the warehouse from here. Those motorcycles were way too showy. You could see the mess by the warehouse. Those weird-looking workers were watching us from afar. None of them dared come over. Yang Jia looked out at them, his face a bit cold.
He said you did really well.
Leave the rest to me. I still had tons of questions, but that calmed me down for some reason. The car drove away from the dock. Tang Tang followed on the bike. No one stopped us. We drove straight to Dongshan Psychiatric Hospital in Uptown. Yang Jia drove us right through a side gate. The people inside saw my messy clothes, but didn't ask much. A nurse even said hi to Yang Jia on the way. She called him Dr. Yang. Now I was even more confused.
I asked Yang Jia what was going on.
He glanced back at me and said we all had our own jobs in this city. After everything at the dock, hearing that from Yang Jia, I just froze. He took me to an empty office while I was still dazed. Yang Jia brought out some alcohol and tweezers. Tang Tang sat on the nearby table. It wasn't until my wounds were treated that I snapped back to reality. I frowned. What the heck is going on? I had too many questions. Why did the workers at the dock turn weird? Who was that red-eyed guy? Yang Jia washed his hands, leaned against the window, and looked at me.
He said, "It's obvious."
You got attacked. He was surprised I actually survived.
He said he recognized that guy.
Cody name, Ghost Hunter. He's a veteran almost at 1,000 points. He's also a member of the Red-Eyed Club, just like us, an outsider. And we were once under the same mentor. I immediately picked up on that. I asked if, as Yang Jia mentioned before, we used to be in the same group. But now that's over. That made me feel even weirder. I stared at Yang Jia, waiting for more. He said that when you're new somewhere, it's natural to stick together, no matter if it's Blackgate or other cities. Even those survivors from the Sea of Mist outside, they all form big and small groups. They're just one of those groups. I'd guess they were a team anyway. Honestly, I hope to join. I used to worry about getting picked on as a newbie. But Yang Jia said, the only members are him, Tang Tang, Zhao Si, and Mr. Li. Just 4 of them. I was totally speechless. I said, you've got to be kidding me. Tang Tang told me before you guys were such a strong group. Tang Tang looked a bit guilty, but insisted, with you, we're 5 now. We're actually pretty strong. I was lost for words. So what, you guys play mahjong and even got a spare? Yan Jia went on. saying it's really just 4 of them right now. He only came back 3 months ago too. Half a year back, Blackgate's outsider team was super powerful. So he just came back 3 months ago. Half a year ago, the outsider groups in Blackgate were huge. All the outsiders followed the old boss to exchange info, divided up tasks, and trained newbies. He woke up in Blackgate 4 years ago. And they took him in, taught him how to survive. After that, he left for other cities to find partners. Then I realized 4 years ago was when Yang Jia was graduating. Never thought it was connected to all this. I couldn't help but wonder. Back then, my headaches hadn't even started. Did Yang Jia just think I was a regular local? What if the city's will affected me? Would I turn into a monster in front of him? Yang Jia continued. About the Blackgate fog incident 6 months ago. I was shocked. I'd read about it online before. They said it was pollution. The fog shut down the city for a whole day. Even in the daytime, it looked like night. Heard there was some dangerous stuff in the fog, so no one was allowed out. I asked, was that some kind of mutation event too? Yang Jia said no. It was an attack. The 2 group and pirates from the Sea of Mist stormed into Blackgate during the fog. His mentor and a bunch of group members died. Everyone else got scared and split up. Now each has their own turf. The Red-Eyed Club is one of those fractions. I was hearing all this for the first time. I mumbled, 2 group. Sea of Mist pirates? Yang Jia said they were all nuts. They don't believe in the will of the city. They worship some outside force and rob everywhere. But cities are really powerful. Lots of people died during the Blackgate fog. The rest all went into hiding. Besides the Red-Eyed Club, there's also Silver Bullet from 7th Street, and crews like the Snake Sisters from Old Town, and Old Joe from the East Side. I couldn't help but ask, doesn't the will of the city care? Yang Jia just laughed.
He said the will of the city only protects locals.
It doesn't care about us outsiders. To the city, we're just outsiders. We only have a business relationship. It never gets involved in fights between outsiders. That's why we stick together for safety. At least we feel a little more secure. Hearing all this made me lost in thought. No wonder they call us outsiders. We never really fit in this city. I tried to ignore that weird feeling and asked why the 2 group attacked Blackgate. Yang Jia said it was supposedly for something special, but he's never been sure. If it really existed, the 2 guys invade everywhere, so it's not surprising. After all, they're outsiders just like us. But their philosophy is totally different. They see the world as a steel prison. The city is a cage. They think they're here to suffer for their mistakes. And they're doomed to live in fear and despair.
Me?
The city is a cage. They think they're here to suffer for their mistakes. And they're stuck in fear and hopelessness. I was shocked when I heard that. Doesn't that mean their lives totally suck, Yang? Jia gave me a weird look and said, not at all. They're actually having the time of their lives? I was totally stunned. Enjoying life in a steel prison? Yang Jia said the whole steel prison group just lives for pleasure. They figure since we're trapped here anyway, why care about anything at all? I was blown away when I heard that. That attitude, realizing the world is fake, so you just let go. Kinda feels like I used to think that way too. I wanted to criticize a little, but suddenly couldn't put my feelings into words. Tang Tang nearby quietly spoke up. She said the old president hurt a lot of people. Big Dog, Junjun, Ant, Meng, Mr. Wolf. We never did anything to them. The whole city was covered in heavy fog. A huge black ship floated over the city. They jumped down and attacked anyone they saw. The old president was gone. Everyone who followed him disappeared too. He only survived because they laughed at him for being just a kid. Tang Tang's voice even sounded a bit aggrieved. Seeing the usually lively Tang Tang hang her head now, Yang Jia sighed softly, patted his head and said, when facing the steel prison group, there really aren't any good solutions. Their main pleasure is stealing points anyway. A lot of ruthless outsiders like to pick on the weak. Weak people trying to reason with them is just a joke.
Hearing this,
I felt a heavy pressure inside. I'm surrounded by malice. Monsters who could attack me at any time. Even the city itself is a weird living thing. Outsiders like us don't even fit in here. And we still hurt each other. Half a year ago, the huge black ship came with the fog. Fierce-looking people jumped off the ship. They attacked everyone indiscriminately. No rules, no morals. Just pure open malice. The more I thought about it, the colder I felt. If I had woken up a little sooner, would I have been caught in that disaster too? Yang Jia sighed and said, "What I should tell you is that after the Steel Prison's attack, Blackgate City's expat group is basically history. The old president and his loyal followers are almost all gone. The others have been scared out of their minds for a long time. No one dares get involved with his teacher anymore. They're just getting by, living day to day. He came back to carry on his teacher's will, to rebuild Blackgate's group. His teacher once said, 'We're all people abandoned by the world. If we can't even help each other, how can we fight back against this world of despair?' Sadly, the only ones brave enough to support him now are Tang Tang and Zhao Si. And Mr. The..." I turned and glanced over, saw Tang Tang with red eyes and her head bowed except for Yang. Only Tang Tang Zhao Si is here. And there's also Mr. The... I glanced over at Tang Tang, who had his head down and eyes all red. But what Yang said really hit me. I totally get what it's like to be tormented, with no one to understand or talk to. I still remember when I first came back, how lost I felt in a world full of hostility. People need companions. I used to want to find other outsiders, to join a group. Now, even with just a few of us, at least we can scrape together a team. Yang suddenly laughed and said he didn't expect to talk this much with me. He said it's good to let me know their situation. But what's most important right now is dealing with the trouble you ran into. I looked up, worry flashing in my eyes. I'm quick on the uptake, and I caught the main issue right away. That red-eyed guy is one of the red eyes.
Club.
Which means there's more than one person out to get me. That guy definitely has someone pulling the strings. What if a few more show up? What then? I'm super stressed. I looked up and asked Yang, "So what should we do?" Yang said outsiders always handle things simply. If they doubt you or won't help, that's one thing. But if they dare lay a hand on you and provoke us, that's something else. He smiled and took out a pair of black gloves from the drawer and slowly put them on.
He chuckled and said, "In this place, the rules don't matter."
But under my watch, they have to play by the rules. Tang Tang saw Yang put on the black gloves, and his eyes instantly lit up. I looked at those gloves and suddenly felt my heart skip a beat. But Yang's smile made me expectant too. The weak don't get a say, but my classmate here really seems ready to stand up for us. Man, that's a real sense of security. I was just getting my hopes up when Zhao Si, who stayed behind at the docks to handle things, came running back. He was smiling and handed me a stained ID card, very respectfully.
He said, "Captain Zhao, don't worry."
I covered everything. This is his ID card, and there's still over 800 points on it. I didn't take a single point. I took it out of habit, and then froze. Over 800 points, that means it's all mine? Yang noticed my excitement and said, "They were coming for you, and you dealt with them. So by the usual rules, the points are yours. Normally, a third would go to public stash, but with just 5 of us now, and you're really needing points, you can keep it all. Though Zhao Si did handle cleanup for you, so you can give him 100 points. I was just about to agree, when Zhao Si quickly said no need. Helping Brother Zhao with things is no big deal. I was even more surprised. What a considerate guy Zhao Si is. Actually, Zhao Si just finished cleaning up the scene, and knew how tough that red-eyed guy was, since he's a hunter too.
He realized I could handle the guy easily.
Taking him out wasn't a problem. He knew how strong the red-eyed guy was. And as a hunter himself, he saw I took care of him like it was nothing. So handling him is even easier. That's why he looked at me more and more friendly. These 800 free points are more than I've ever collected before. Of course I took them right away. Yang explained to me. It's because that red-eyed guy hit a power-up bottleneck and was saving points for the next stage. That's why there's so many left. Hearing that, I felt relieved. Good thing I won. Otherwise, my 400 points would have gone to someone else. I asked Yang what we should do next. Yang looked at Zhao Si and asked if everything was cleaned up. Zhao Si confidently said, "It's spotless." I was a bit curious, so I asked how he did it. Zhao Si said proudly, "I packed everything up and shipped it to the Red Eyes Club." My heart instantly skipped a beat. But Yang just smiled and said, "That's good. Since we've already notified them, let's go over there right now." By the time night fell, I followed Yang out and sat in his passenger seat, still totally confused. Behind us, Zhao Si and Tang Tang happily wished us not good luck, but action success. That left me speechless inside. So that's how you handle things? That's your so-called specialty? Just pack it up and send it over? What the heck? Earlier, Zhao Si actually argued for his method. Our goal, anyway, is to make sure no outsider's body remains, so we don't cause trouble with natives. As long as we clean up and don't get caught, it's fine. What could be better than mailing the remains to them and making their own people deal with it? Honestly, I wanted to shout. So you're saying you mean well? But I couldn't bring myself to ask. From a certain angle, Zhao Si is actually being nice, but making the enemy so mad ahead of time. Is that really a good idea? Even if Yang says he'll reason with them, they still have more people on their side. Zhao Si and Tang Tang aren't even coming. If things really go south, can he really protect me? I'm just a rookie and don't know anything. I only just learned how powerful the Blackgate's outsider factions really are. This is the first I've heard of it. But now I have to face who knows how many pros, with way more points than me, who are all furious old hands. Of course I can't help but feel nervous. And the more anxious I got, the faster my thoughts ran, quietly thinking about how to act in a minute. The car turned onto a busy, crowded street. Yang glanced at my face and secretly nodded, facing a bunch of hostile pros soon. But he's not even nervous a bit. He was even more sure of my potential. Then finally broke the silence softly. The leader of the Red Eyes Club is named Zhang. He was even more sure of my potential. Then finally broke the silence softly. The leader of the Red Eyes Club is called Lin Ping. He's at least as strong as someone with nearly 10,000 points.
He's top 5 in Blackgate City.
And when he handled that mechanical incident, he discovered a pair of red eyes by accident. With those red eyes, he can twist and trigger the malice. Even in the hearts of natives, he can control their emotions, and can even transfer the red eye's power temporarily to a teammate. That's what happened to you at the dock. Cheap versions can only use some red eye's powers, but with a real vessel, they can use it all easily. I was a bit curious. So red eyes counts as a kind of boost too? Yeah, Yang said quietly. We're in a city, and we often spot strange things. Not just rare items or odd creatures. Sometimes it's a special element, or even some kind of ray. They all have strange powers. If you can find them and exchange, they can become your personal boost. I nodded quietly, and found out even more. I still don't know enough about this world. What should I do? Yang Jie paused for a second. He smiled and told me to take care of myself. If things get dangerous, just hide behind me. I was a bit surprised by that. I nodded and said okay. Yang Jie listened, then couldn't help but glance at me in the rearview mirror.
He thought this old classmate is still just as honest.
The car carried us forward in silence. He thought for a while, then asked softly, that other guy, the one called Ghost Shadow, he's number 3 of the Red Eyes Club. He's not weak. Based on the points, you two are far apart. You're way behind him. But in this fight, you handled him in no time, and you only got a minor injury. Mind telling me how you did it? It was simple. Stay calm. Think before you act, and that solved it. I wasn't trying to hide anything. Very openly, I explained how from that morning, I noticed someone was following me, how the dock workers suddenly got aggressive, how I spotted red eyes, and dodged his assassination attempt, and finally used the Hound of Pain to take him down. I shared everything, even mentioned the old record player that seemed to cause chaos the whole time. Though I did hide the explosion mind ability part, I didn't want to, and couldn't explain that to anyone in detail. Even so, Yang Jie was shocked. He never thought he could be surprised by someone, barely considered a rookie, whether it was his shock or that he'd never thought he could be surprised by a total newcomer. Maybe it was my boosted perception, or how I controlled an enraged hunter with the Hound of Pain, or maybe that weird record player. He looked calm on the surface, but he was quietly taking notes on every detail. After a while, when I was done talking, Yang Jie slowly nodded.
He said, I get it.
But you don't have to answer all those questions in the future. We're strangers here, but we still need each other. Never fully trust another person. Keep some secrets for yourself. I was surprised Yang Jie said this to me. I paused, then asked, even you? Yang Jia fell silent. After a while, he said, even me. I took a moment to process that, then nodded my head. I hadn't planned to tell everything anyway. And I got why Yang Jia said that. Real connections go both ways. You only earn secrets from others. By sharing yours, people who reveal everything often don't get respect. We drove for over 40 minutes. We'd made it to the lower part of the city, into a bustling part of town. Between buildings covered in colorful graffiti, I spotted a bar on the corner right away. It was a plain 3-story building, except for the sign a pair of glowing red eyes really stood out. This was the Red Eyes Club. Yan Jia and I got out of the car together. I glanced up at the bar. I felt like it was different from an ordinary bar. There were 2 big, tough guys at the door, faces hidden by sunglasses, coldly watching everyone walk by. They glanced at us with cold, hard looks, but said nothing and let us through. I breathed a little easier. Clearly, I had no problem getting in. I just worried Yang Jia might get stopped. After entering the bar, the place felt way more open. There was a lot of space here. Yan Jia scanned the place with his eyes and said, this is where Red Eyes Club members hang out. It's their spot to relax. Yang Jia turned to look at me, laughed and admitted, their way of living is really attractive to lots of outsiders. How about you? What do you think? I hadn't really thought about it. When Yang Jia asked, I shook my head and looked away. I'm not interested in this kind of stuff. I want to keep things chill and low-key. Not a fan of anything flashy. Now that I'm more comfortable and have a foot in the outsider scene, my image and reputation do matter. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, Tang Tang was staring seriously at Zhao Xi's phone, her face gradually lighting up with excitement. Then she looked at it with real respect. Brother Zhao is always Brother Zhao. He even looks cool when he's strong. I just snapped a random photo. Zhao Xi seemed a bit uneasy. Are you really going to post this on the forum? It's not easy for us to find someone strong as Brother Zhao. Why not show those guys? Let them know. Just because you all turned your backs on us doesn't mean we're helpless. Now we've got someone to lean on too. Red Eyes Club, 3rd floor. Normal people aren't allowed up here. Usually only a few regulars come up. They have total privileges in the bar. On this Friday, the folks who usually work the 1st floor were all meeting in the 3rd floor lounge. Everyone looked gloomy, staring at a box on the carpet, sealed up tight. It was so quiet you couldn't even hear anyone breathing. Someone realized it was the body of the ghost hunter, and all hell broke loose. Some were shocked and angry, demanding to know who did it. Others guessed it was an enemy group. The club boss, Lin Ping, was wearing a white fur coat, leaning on a cane, looking cold as ice the whole time, not saying a word. After everyone finished arguing, he suddenly looked toward the stairs and quietly said, let's welcome our guests first. Right then, Yang Jia was taking me up to the 3rd floor, ignoring the no entry sign at the stairs. As we walked, he told me not to act nervous in front of these people. Fear won't help here. It'll just mess with your judgment. Playing weak will only bring trouble. Our rule is to act tough, not the other way around. I kept that in mind. I'm still a rookie. Got a lot to learn. We quickly entered the hall on the 3rd floor, where 7 or 8 people were hanging around, all of them looking pretty unfriendly, their eyes glowing red. They were all outsiders, just like me. If this was before, I'd be pumped to meet other people like me. But now I know these folks are all out to get me. I'm feeling the pressure, but tried to stay calm and followed Yang Jia. As soon as the others saw Yang Jia, they instantly tensed up, faces full of caution and hostility. Lin Ping, sitting in the middle, asked in a low voice why he was here. Yang Jia glanced at the cardboard boxes on the floor.
He smiled and said, I heard someone died here.
I came to check it out. As soon as I said that, the whole room exploded. Someone pulled out a knife. Someone grabbed their weapon. Someone drew a gun. The mood instantly dropped to freezing. Everyone suspected we had something to do with it. Lin Ping's hand gripping the cane tightened instantly. His eyes were red and cold. He stared and asked, Did you kill the person? As he spoke, his gaze landed on me. Now everyone noticed I came in with Yang Jia. They all wondered where I came from. With so many eyes fixed on me, I felt a bit nervous. But I smiled at Lin Ping and admitted it was me. There's no point denying it anyway. It would only make me look flustered. Might as well admit it up front. Just two simple words. Hit everyone like thunder. They didn't expect I'd admit it so directly. And I was smiling so calmly. The guy in the jacket's eyes suddenly turned red. He rushed over and shoved his gun right to my temple.
He gritted his teeth and asked how I wanted to die.
My heart jumped in shock. It's my first time ever having someone point a gun at me. I instinctively wanted to look at young Jia for help. But then I remembered his warning just now. First time in a stranger's circle. Can't show any weakness. I slowly turned around, facing the jacket guy's gun head on, still keeping a steady smile. I asked, "Are you gonna shoot?" The guy in the jacket froze for a second. He looked at my super calm face. He suddenly thought of the creepy face in the box. It gave him a chill. I ignored his reaction, slowly pulled out my own gun from my pocket, softly cocked the gun. Everyone stared at me in shock. I aimed my gun right at the jacket guy's face. The jacket guy froze completely. He watched what I was doing. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. His hand holding the gun started shaking. I frowned. I asked if he wasn't going to pull the trigger. Then why point the gun around? Right after I said that, I just pulled the trigger. I was holding in my anger. After all, I'm the victim here. The Red Eyes Club people came looking for trouble first. Now we're on their turf. Yet they're acting so angry. Didn't hesitate to point guns at me. I wanted to show respect to the seniors. But in this circle, no one cares about reason. That's just how it is. I noticed young Jia was very calm. Only his pupils shrank a bit. Looks like everything is under his control. And the guy with the cane, his gaze wasn't even on me. He was looking at the jacket guy pointing the gun at me instead. I also realized this guy named Matt, the jacket guy, looked furious. But his legs were actually shaking. The most important thing. He didn't even release the safety on his gun. Turns out he's just used to bluffing with a gun. Had no intention of actually shooting. So I'll play along with him too. Don't play games with him.
Who would have guessed I'd pull a gun on Man out of nowhere?
And I actually pulled the trigger. Everyone there stood up real quick. Their faces looked worse and worse. Manan was so scared he jumped back. He almost dropped his gun. Cold sweat just poured down. But I pulled the trigger twice. Not a single bullet came out. I just grinned and said, "I forgot my gun was already empty." Manan froze for a few seconds, then realized he'd been fooled. Getting embarrassed like that in front of everyone really got to him. He gritted his teeth and loaded the gun. This time, he was really gonna shoot. But I just looked at him calmly, totally unfazed. That's when Lin Ping, with the cane, spoke up and told Manan to stop. But Manan was blinded by rage at that point. He didn't want to listen at all. Right then, Yang Jia, standing next to me, suddenly looked serious. Her eyes narrowed a bit. Manan suddenly felt his gun weigh a ton. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't lift it. He just passed out right there. The people around saw what happened and were shocked and furious. They all jumped up, ready to rush over. I quietly moved behind Yang Jia for cover. Yang Jia just frowned slightly. The people charging over were stopped like they'd been hit by something invisible. They all froze in place. Everyone was so scared. It was like they lost their souls. The way they looked at Yang Jia was like they were seeing a monster. This was when Lin Ping finally lost his composure. He congratulated Yang Jia. He asked if she came here just to flex. Yang Jia calmly met his gaze. She said she respects Lin Ping because he'd been with the old leader for so long. But now Lin Ping doesn't even want revenge for the old leader. If you don't want revenge, fine. She was willing to continue the old leader's vision. But instead of helping, these people were trying to stop her. Every word Yang Jia said made the pressure in the room rise. Some people already passed out from it. Right then, Lin Ping was both shocked and angry again. He pulled a thin sword out of his cane and thrust it at Yang Jia. Yang Jia just raised her gloved right hand and easily grabbed the blade. She twisted it a full 180 degrees by force. The sword tip pointed straight at Lin Ping. Lin Ping was shocked and furious again. He shouted for Yang Jia not to push him. But Yang Jia just smiled. Then everything exploded into chaos. All the windows and chandeliers on the third floor shattered at once. Glasses and bottles in the bar downstairs broke too. The ones under that effect, with red eyes, all got knocked to the ground. The red light in their eyes went out instantly. The red glow faded right away. Lin Ping closed his eyes in pain. Yang Jia's voice stayed calm. She said she used to respect these people because they were once the old leader's subordinates. But the moment they betrayed the old leader, they were no longer her allies. The one behind her, me, was her true friend now? Yang Jia's voice got heavier. She said she reasons with people, but only her own people. She came here this time, just to warn them to leave me alone. If anyone tried anything, she'd take everyone here down. I watched everything she did, and felt really hyped inside. I used to think she wasn't that impressive. But coming here with her to face the Red Eyes Club, I realized her presence was overwhelming. No wonder she dared bring me here alone. When Yang Jia finished speaking, the pressure from Lin Ping's red eyes hit its peak. From where I stood, I felt Yang Jia wasn't good at talking tough. She looks gentle, and she isn't good at being harsh, but that just made her calm, honest words even scarier. No one dared not to believe her. Lin Ting couldn't handle the pressure anymore.
He finally said, "Yeah, I get it."
His voice was full of frustration and despair. He knew saying that meant he lost and had to give in. As the backbone of the group, his authority took a major hit, but he had no other choice. He still had cards left. But Yang Jia clearly had more up her sleeve, especially with those black gloves. Lin Ping knew he was in danger now. The old leader is gone. Blackgate City has no boss now. If Yang Jia really gets violent, no one will back Lin Ping up. Yang Jia saw how he looked and suddenly smiled. She asked, "Are you gonna tell me who it was now?" Lin Ping's face changed. He barely managed. "I don't know what you're talking about." "It was your people who killed ours." Yang Jia let out a tiny laugh. The pressure in the room vanished. She quietly said, "So, it was Black Forest Labs." Lin Ping was speechless. Yang Jia watched him and said she'd heard. The Red Eyes Club had sided with Black Forest, even working with them on experiments. They were so scared by Tai Yu's group that they put their hopes on some crazy native. Now they're stuck doing dirty work for their protection. Lin Ping went silent. No way he'd admit it. But Yang Jia had obviously investigated it. Arguing would change nothing. Who knew this girl who'd been gone 4 years had reached such a level now? She used to be so quiet back then. Yang Jia quietly spoke up. She said, "You joining Black Forest doesn't bother me. Be their puppet if you want, that's fine too. But agreeing to their request, yeah. Agreeing to attack your own people is too much. Attacking your own for them is crossing the line." Lin Ting just closed his eyes in pain and said nothing. Yang Jia didn't say any more. She let go of the sword. Lin Ting slowly backed up. His eyes went back to normal. The pressure around everyone disappeared. A bunch of people fell over. Everyone was a mess. Yang Jia looked at the terrified crowd, smiled and said, "Sorry folks. You all seemed out of the loop. So you're innocent here. But I don't like too much chatter. So I had to do this. Hope you can stay quiet for a bit." Her smile was clear and gentle, but everyone was scared to death. Yang Jia stepped aside so I could come out from behind her. She calmly introduced me to the crowd, saying I'm a good person, real and sincere, always does things seriously. In a fake world like this, people should help each other and fight loneliness together. It's better to have a reliable friend than another enemy. When I heard her mention me, I gave a genuine smile, and the room got really quiet. People either looked away or squinted. They all had to admit, I really am pretty genuine. Lin Ping stayed silent the whole time. He tried to put the sword back in his cane. But since Yang Jia bent it into a U shape, he had to just awkwardly hold it.
His red eyes
weren't glowing anymore. Yang Jia walked over to the couch, took a white rose, and tossed it into the box holding Ghost Rift. She said, "After all, we're all just strangers here." She felt bad about his passing. So I walked up, got a white rose, and threw it into. I respect him, but I don't feel sorry. If he acted up before, I would deal with him again. Yang Jia told Lin Ping, "You guys met the person I brought with me. He's still a newbie, just stepped into this twisted world. He treats every outsider as one of us. I hope you all remember what it was like when you first saw this world. Don't lose your principles just because of Tai Yu." After that, Yang Jia got ready to leave. She added Ghost Rift's info card. I'll have someone deliver it back later, but the points inside will stay as compensation for this incident. People were shocked inside. Ghost Rift was one of Lin Ping's best. There were a lot of points on that card, and it belonged to the whole club. Nobody dared to say anything, though. Everyone just wanted her to leave fast. Then Lim Ping suddenly called out to Yang Jia. He asked, Miss Yang, are you taking over for the old leader? To pay back a favor, or for his safe? Yang Jia stopped at the door, turned back and looked at him for a while, then smiled and said, since I'm back, I'm ready to take over everything the teacher left me. And that includes the safe, of course.